Mental health is at the core of increased violence across the United States.
People want a quick solution. The long-term solution here is to address the mental health issue.
Women are being urged to know their genetic risk this World Ovarian Cancer Day. Organisation Pink Hope says 1 in 7 women with the disease have inherited a mutated gene. Chief Executive Sarah Powell says knowing the risk can help detect the disease sooner.
If you carry one of these gene mutations, you have a 40 to 60% chance of getting ovarian cancer in your lifetime. So they're pretty compelling stats, and so it's definitely something that everyone should look into.
More than 1,000 mourners are expected to attend the funeral for jockey Dean Holland at Flemington Racecourse today. The 34-year-old died from injuries sustained in a race fall at Donald last month. Now to 5AA Sport.
It's nearly tax time. Act now for immediate delivery on Mitsubishi Triton from Agostino Mitsubishi, Nailsworth and Elizabeth.
And it's good morning to Tom Wren.
And a very good morning to you as well, Mel. Let's start with football. Port Adelaide coach Ken Hinkley has praised his players for their resilience following yesterday's thrilling 5-point win against Essendon at home. The Power have now won 5 straight games, and Hinkley says the ability to see the results through in so many tight ones has been great to see.
I think our boys were outstanding at wanting to go the distance, based on a few things weren't going perfect with the scoreboard and bits and pieces that were happening, but they're learning a lot, I reckon, in this period, 4 or 5 weeks, as you touched on, about what it takes to just stick at it, and they're doing a really good job.
2 other games to wrap up the round yesterday, with Collingwood outlasting Sydney by 29 points, while St Kilda beat North Melbourne by 5 goals. Let's go to soccer, and Adelaide United's players will look ahead to this week's semi-final tie against the Central Coast Mariners. That's after beating Wellington in their elimination final on Friday night. Meantime, in the English Premier League, Manchester United slipped up again, this time going down 1-0 against West Ham. The goal coming just before the half-hour mark.
West Ham have a man down, but the advantage is played. Oh, De Gea has made a right mess of it. He's gone through him, and West Ham United take the lead.
Audio there thanks to Optus. Meantime, Arsenal has kept its faint title hopes alive with a 2-0 win against Newcastle. And in some tennis to finish, Carlos Alcaraz has taken out the Madrid Open after beating German Jan-Lennard Struff in 3 sets. While on the women's side, it was also a 3-setter with Arina Sabalenka beating Iga Swiatek to take it out in 3. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now the 5AA forecast.
See any issue firsthand with AutoCam. Real-time video, direct to you from your Automasters technician.
A shower or two today, we're heading for a top of 16. A shower or two tomorrow, 18. Partly cloudy Wednesday, 18 as well. Right now, it's hovering around 7 degrees. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Or at least to someone who's been there. Andy Thomas joins us on the program after 7:30 today. We'll take you to the big screen. The movie bowl comes out after 8 o'clock, and we'll take you back to the coronation, which dominated the weekend. Marie, who was camping out. Camping might be overstating it, actually. Marie had a sleeping bag and was staying out overnight in the cold ahead of the coronation to get a good spot. It was a wonderful chat we had on Friday morning. We'll find out how she went. Really looking forward to that a little bit later. It does put into perspective the feelings of cold we're having here in Adelaide at the moment. I don't know what it got down to overnight in London, but I'm guessing sleeping on the pavement in a sleeping bag was probably cooler than what most people waking up listening this morning got through. That said, it does feel cold out there, and over the weekend we got our first real blush of cold weather with overnight lows of 6 degrees. Right now, it's not much more than that, 6.8 degrees outside in the city of Adelaide. David Pemberthy, good morning to you.
Good morning, listeners. Good morning, Will. It is absolutely freezing cold. Yesterday was unbelievable. For some stupid reason, we had a barbecue at home last night. I just stand around. I almost climbed inside, nestled my feet among the charcoal.
It must have looked like a smoke machine out there.
Oh, well, we had the little brazier burning as well. A couple of logs from down the road from the survey.
Good on you for keeping summer alive.
Yeah, and and we even ate outside.
Oh God!
And we're all like everyone's in their parkas and scarves, sitting there trying to hold the cutlery without developing frostbite. It was kind of invigorating though, and it's just something to do. But when we did get back inside, it was like that was a punishing 90 minutes out there.
So you think it's officially the end of Barbie season now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, actually, in hindsight, I think Barbie season probably ended about 10 days ago.
Right.
So
you just gave it one last crack for all of us.
Now, Will, I did have a cruel thought as I was leaving home this morning, where I noticed a mist over the southern parklands, and I thought it's only a matter of time before the old pea super references start getting rolled
That's
out.
okay. That's all right. People, for the sake of comedy, are happy being completely factually incorrect. That's not no skin off my nose.
Coronation fever. Coronation fever. You know, there's an excruciating term that's used in the media called the story arc. Not just in the media, but in I guess the performing arts. In any storytelling, a story has a beginning and a middle and an end. Now, remember one of the last things I said on Friday on the show was that I talked myself into being...
You had coronation fever.
Yeah, I did. Well, it stopped about 2 minutes after the broadcast.
After the broadcast began,
after
it finished?
After it began.
Oh, right. So early days, you went, I'm out.
I sat down, I thought, right, we've had an early dinner, we're going to be able to watch all of this and really get into it. And I tell you what, if that was the pared back, modest version, what was Plan A before they decided to, were they juggling dwarves on being paraded on the backs of lions, gargling caviar? Did they put a line through that?
They must have, I think.
It was just ostentatious, and the idea too that this is the inclusive coronation. I saw a hell of a lot of rich white people sitting in that big cathedral together.
Yeah, but the difference was there used to be only rich white people. Now there was mostly rich white people, and that is progress.
Maybe I'm out of step with the public mood on this, but
well, you're not out of step with viewership, and I found this really interesting this morning. So
did you watch it?
I watched 5 minutes and I went out.
I watched the whole thing.
Oh gosh, I watched a bit more on replay this morning.
I watched every single minute of it.
I watched 6 minutes this morning.
That crown didn't look right on Camilla's head either.
Well, the title doesn't sound right when you know that the Queen didn't want to have it. But anyway, that's happened now and it's in the past. Speaking of the Queen, though, so average of 18 million viewers in the UK. So we're taking these are UK figures. 18 million viewers. It peaked at 20.4 million viewers. For context, the average for the Queen's funeral was 26.5 million. So it's an average of 26.5 v 18. And if there's 8.5 million people who said in the UK that I'm in for the Queen's funeral but not in for the coronation, I'm among those. That's my overwhelming feeling of it. The Queen's funeral felt momentous.
Yeah, it did.
This felt after the fact.
Yeah.
Felt like reheating the souffle, to use one of your turns of phrase. So that played out there. I'm interested to hear from our listeners how it played out here. 8223 Did you end up watching it? If you did you have a sense, because a lot of people did feel this way, that it was the last time we'll ever see something of this grandeur because of the reasons, because people felt a bit off.
Well, they still haven't even revealed how much it cost the British taxpayers, have they?
No.
Like, I would have thought that a level of transparency is required. People deserve to know how much they've paid, particularly at like the cost of living crisis we're going through in Australia is every bit as bad in Great Britain at the moment. People have got a right to know how much of their money is being used, particularly when the family itself could probably afford to pay. You look at the amount of stuff over the years that has been stolen. Like, I don't want to go full Lydia Thorpe on this, but most of their wealth comes from theft. Like, there's no other way of describing it. I mean, the act of empire is about conquest and taking stuff you like back home. That includes most of their jewellery.
Gee whiz, you have changed since 8:30 Friday morning, haven't you?
I could not watch it with a straight face.
What has happened? David Republican Pemberthy's back. You were
I just got to get it all off my chest.
You were admonishing people Friday morning for not taking it seriously enough. I did have this thought, though, in the coverage after the fact. Interested in what people make of this. I don't think this is contestable. Catherine, Princess of Wales, has been getting a lot of rave reviews for her performance. Stood there, looked nice and serious. I think was the role. Okay, but she
I like
did
her outfit.
She did really well, and people love her because she's great. I agree with that. She's terrific.
She's good.
Would you have a complex if you're one of the core royals of the family that the two most popular people in the household for the last 40 years have been those that have married in?
Well, this is true. The real sort of winners on Saturday aren't actually royals at all, or didn't start their life as royals. Yeah, I mean, Diana, obviously. I suppose it's a bit like replenishing the old gene pool, isn't it? You need to bring in a bit of outside talent, otherwise the whole thing collapses.
You would get a complex at some point in time, wouldn't you? You think, Jesus, someone who's biologically connected to us can be likeable?
Yeah, I guess the commoners do seem a bit more relatable, don't they?
Well, I just wonder if there's a lesson in that.
They've had a bit of real life experience.
What were your coronation thoughts, folks? Let us know. 8223 0000. You can text us too on the Duttons text line. Did you watch it? How much of it did you make it through?
Sorry to start the week in such radical mode.
Did you come in tearing the Union Jack off everything you own, like David clearly has over the weekend? 13 minutes after 6. We're going to take a break. News headlines are next.
Gents, have you got the urge to pee again, even though you only just went? Caruso's Pee Less for Men relieves that annoying gotta pee again feeling and helps support healthy bladder and prostate function. So, if your need to pee all the time is getting in the way of enjoying life, try Caruso's Pee Less today. Caruso's Pee Less is made in Australia, comes with a money-back guarantee and is available from leading pharmacies and health food stores. Always read the label and follow the directions for use.
Always expect the best from Adelaide Appliance Gallery, home of designer appliances, which means right now you'll save up to 15% on Falcon upright cookers, plus receive a special 10-year warranty for this month only. Also this month, Miele are offering a 10-year warranty. That's a 10-year warranty on Miele this month only. We can also arrange delivery, installation and removal of your old appliance. Adelaide Appliance Gallery, home of designer appliances, Payneham Road, St Peters. T's and C's apply.
Now, don't let the name fool you. Adelaide Direct Stationers may be all Adelaide and very direct, but they're much more than just stationery.
They're a through South Australian owned and operated family business serving our largest businesses for over 25 years.
And they're one of South Australia's largest suppliers of tech products, washer-in products, PPE, workplace health and safety equipment, office furniture, food, snacks, beverages and much more.
Whatever you need, they've got it, and they'll get you to it. Well, they'll get it to you faster than you can say please with same-day 2-hour express delivery. That's right, same-day 2-hour express delivery.
It's a great service, and what a range too. Head online to browse over 30,000 products and get them delivered direct, quick as a flash.
Visit AdelaideDirectStationers.com.au.
Were you a fan of Roy Orbison, Simon and Garfunkel, Frankie Valli, Cliff Richard, or the Bee Gees? Well, don't miss the all-new Robertson Brothers 1960s variety TV show with special guest stars Simon Brooke McLaughlin from the Jersey Boys.
Adelaide, June 29.
9 News is made in Adelaide for Adelaide.
And has been since 1959.
I'm Kate Collins.
And I'm Brenton Raglas. Join us for 9 News tonight at 6.
Breakfast on 5AA. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
Test drive the Cherry Emoda 5 at Cherry Glen Osmond from 33k drive away with immediate delivery. Go Cherry.
16 after 6. Coronation reviews are coming in. We'll get to some of the Duttons texts in a moment. Someone sent through a picture of everyone in the family sleeping on the couch.
That's funny.
Brad in One Tree Hills called in. Morning to you, Brad.
Morning, Dave and Will.
What'd you make of it, Brad?
Oh, I had the misfortune of flicking through and actually seeing about 4 minutes and 30 seconds of it. And to me, it's just an anachronism from the medieval and feudal pass system that we don't need in Australia. And I'd rather go down to the cement company and read their barcode collection.
Thank you, Brad.
Good on you, Brad.
This is good. This is like Lucy's movie review, but everyone can be involved, and it all happened on Saturday night. The Duttons texts are interesting. Ben Jordan tweeted us, our stats man, said the cost of the coronation's estimated to be at about $100 million. Compare that to, he says, the US inauguration current cost of $175 million every 4 years. How does it cost that much? He says it makes Australia a good place to be. Dutton's text time.
Yes. So I don't think we've got the appetite for either of those things, have we?
No.
Dave from Alberton's opened the shoulders early on a Monday. Biggest pile of gilded dross I've seen, he writes, on the Dutton's text line. Why, when holding a referendum for the voice to Parliament, can't we add a question to gauge the country's feeling on a republic? Thank you for that, Dave.
The Dutton's text line, thanks to Dutton's brand new Ram dealership in Murray Bridge. Ram eat utes for breakfast. Guy in Highgate says 5 minutes of the coronation met my expectations. Netflix for me. I suspect that the streaming services were well patronised on Saturday night. Thank you, Guy. Let's get to the news headlines before we get to some more of these scathing reviews of the coronation.
A lot of our listeners will have loved it, and they will rally. They will respond and say, you know,
the review line is open.
It is.
All right, let's have a look at the news headlines, starting with the coronation. The concert that's ongoing at the moment, Prince William says his late grandmother, Queen Elizabeth, would have been very proud as members of the royal family gathered outside Windsor Castle for the coronation concert. The newly crowned King Charles and Queen Camilla are in the royal box as a crowd of 20,000 turn out to see headline acts, including Take That, Lionel Richie and Katy Perry. Prince William says the coronation weekend celebrations have been important.
As my grandmother said when she was crowned, coronations are a declaration of our hopes for the future. And I know she's up there, fondly keeping an eye on us, and she'll be a very proud mother.
Back here in Australia, we are on budget eve. We'll jump more into this story after 7 o'clock, but briefly, the federal government has confirmed that the budget will outline a cost of living package worth $14.6 billion. There's a host of announcements that already are part of that, including the energy rebate for households and small businesses, but there'll be further health and aged care initiatives outlined, along with an expected increase to the job seeker rate that'll be more broad-based than what was being initially reported as well.
Yeah, the key to all this, all will be revealed tomorrow night when the Treasurer gets up to deliver his second budget. But at what point do you cease to be eligible for that sort of assistance? Like, it sounds like it's... And clearly we know that there was a non-means tested promise across the board of a $275 saving on everyone's power bills. Well, we're not going to be seeing that, are we? But it sounds like they're going to provide more relief than that for people who are really doing it tough.
The Irwin family has gathered in Los Angeles to commemorate the legacy of Steve Irwin. The Steve Irwin Gala dinner has been held for the first time in 3 years. Son Robert says it's great to see support for the cause.
To this day, people come up to us, both here in Australia and in America, and they talk about the effect that Dad had on them. I mean, he really did inspire an entire generation of people. So to be able to keep that going is such an honour.
A US governor says mental health is the biggest factor that needs addressing after yet another mass shooting. 8 people killed and 7 wounded when a gunman opened fire on an outlet mall in Texas. You seen the vision of this?
It's disgusting.
Oh my God, it's chilling.
It's grotesque.
It's terrifying.
You know, the thing is, for Australians, our entry point into the United States is Dallas these days.
Mm.
You know, as a general rule, depends where you're going. But I reckon there's probably as many flights, if not more. Qantas try to, when you say you want to go to the States, Qantas, the flight that they prop to you is Sydney to Dallas, Melbourne to Dallas. Now, we're going to the States, well, mainly to Mexico, as a family, the whole family, in January.
Mm.
And with all this going on in the background, I spent a lot of this weekend just trying to work out what's a good hotel to stay in Dallas. And I found one called the Pittman that looks really nice, because in a part of town with an interesting history. It's near the CBD. Historically, it was one of the black neighbourhoods. Now it's been gentrified, but it's got a bit of a music sort of history. So just out of interest, I typed in, is Deep Ellum safe? That's the name of the neighbourhood where the hotel is. And the first headline I got from the Dallas Morning News is, police stepping up patrols after fatal double shooting in Deep Ellum.
Mm.
Now, you just read, and a double shooting is, that was probably on page 10.
Well, this is just it. I think the reality is you could search any street and you won't have to go back too far for a gun-related violent incident.
See, the thing is, like, before I meet up with the kids, my ex-wife's taking them to another couple of parts of the US, and the sorts of things they want to do as teenagers is to hit the DFOs, to go to the malls and get the cheap, Kathmandu jacket or sneakers, Lacoste shirts, whatever it is. Because people go over and say, oh, wow, the shops are great. the mere act of walking around a shopping mall, and this is what happened. It's almost to the point where, as an Aussie, you go, maybe we'll go to Vanuatu again.
Well, I had the exact same experience when we went there on a honeymoon. We were in New York, and we were going to watch a basketball game in Brooklyn. And the day before the game, on one street removed from the stadium, a police officer was sitting in his car, and someone put a gun through the window and shot him. And we walked along that street. And had this sort of weird...
Yeah.
So this is just where someone got shot and killed yesterday? And it was just...
It
wasn't news.
I will feel happier as a parent and a husband when we leave Dallas and get to Mexico on safety grounds. I will. That sounds kind of hysterical when you think that there's been a drug war running in Mexico for the better part of 2 decades now that's claimed more lives than the war in Afghanistan.
Well, how do you ignore it with all the stories that we cover each and every morning? Speaking of Vanuatu and nice places to go on holiday, Vietnam just recorded their highest ever temperature, 44 degrees. 44 degrees with 100% humidity to be something, I reckon. Experts predict it won't be long before another weather record there, though, because they're seeing all sorts of these effects of climate change bleeding through at the moment. Not so here this morning. 6.5 degrees outside, top of 16 today with a mill of rain. Just having a look at the week quickly. 18 the top tomorrow and a drizzle. Wednesday, 18 and clear. Thursday will be really nice. 20 degrees, sunny, no rain to speak of. The rain comes in a little bit more on Friday. 17 the top and up to 2 mils of rain. Saturday 18 and 1, Sunday 20 and 1. So nothing significant this week, but just a couple of drizzles around the place to remind us that winter is just around the corner. Tom Wren's in the 5AA Breakfast studio with us. It's nearly tax time. Act now for immediate delivery on Mitsubishi Triton from Agostino, Mitsubishi, Nailsworth and Elizabeth. Morning, Rennie.
Morning, Will. Morning, David. Hope you had a great weekend, boys. We'll start with the winners and losers. We'll start with one of the winners, and yesterday it was Port Adelaide, again, a close game. That's 5 in a row, but 4 of their wins have been by 14 points or under. So they won yesterday by 5. They won against St Kilda by 7 points, 14 against the Bulldogs, and just 2 points against Sydney. But they're winning, so they're only 1 game off top. They did it the hard way, but Port fans, again, having to sweat it out in what was a tight contest.
They're looking genuinely good now.
It was self-inflicted, wasn't it? It shouldn't have been a tight contest.
No, 32 scoring shots to 22.
They were significantly better as a side on the day.
12 goals, 20. And one of the losers from that game, Junior Rioli, we don't know yet what the punishment will be, but I think it will be at least 2 weeks, maybe 3. Given they suspend players for the potential to cause injury, the fact that Ridley missed the entire game, or the rest of the game with concussion, unfortunately, I think bodes badly for Junior Rioli.
Yeah, can't get away with that sort of stuff anymore, can you?
Which he kicked a couple of really nice goals. Loser as well, unfortunately, from the weekend, the Crows. Gee, called that game. They had their chances. They just couldn't capitalise. It was really frustrating. It felt like they had Geelong almost there, ripe for the taking, but they just didn't know how to finish them off. And I mean, they got within 2 goals.
Can I ask a technical question? If you're standing in the goal square with 2 defenders next to you, you don't have the ball, one of them's holding on to you for several seconds, is that holding the man?
I couldn't. It's one of the worst non-decisions I've ever seen, I think.
We kicked that dead in front. We were a goal behind.
With
3 minutes left.
It was really bad.
That was my remote control flies across the room moment on Saturday.
Yeah. And
metaphorically speaking, of course.
The umpires were...
Until Saturday evening, anyway, it sounds
right
like.
There. Yeah.
Maybe that's why I hated the coronation. I was already...
you were already hyped.
I might be tired of it. I was already in a bad mood.
Just with football, other losers, I thought yesterday, I don't know if I'm just getting a bit old, but I didn't like the Pies fans booing Buddy Franklin. I had no idea why. I thought it was just poor.
Well...
First fans. Yeah, I just don't get it. Why?
Yeah, it's a blight on the game, I reckon. It's just become mindless. And what, are they upset that he left Hawthorn? What's going on?
I don't know. First time they played in Melbourne, I think, for 10 years. Usually it's always played in Sydney, that game, so they haven't seen him for 10 years. Be the last time they probably see him in a match against their side and they're just booing him. Now, there was a bit of feeling in that game with the whole Dacos push and shove, but I thought it was a bit over the top. Norwood in the local league, they're 0-5 reigning premiers. They're a loser. They're really battling. Winners, Adelaide United. Yeah, Sturt. Adelaide United are flying. They beat Wellington, which was great. The Thunderbirds are sitting in top spot as well, so great to see them up and about. There are other winners.
Good on you, Rennie. It's nearly tax time. Act now for immediate delivery on Mitsubishi Triton from Agostino Mitsubishi, Nailsworth and Elizabeth.
5AA's Tech Talk with your host, Adelaide Tech Guy Richard Pascoe. Thanks to Harvey Norman Computers.
Wearable tech is a fantastic way to enhance your health and fitness routine and hold yourself accountable. The Fitbit Versa 3 is one of the most reliable smartwatches in the game. It's packed with health and fitness features like 24/7 heart rate tracking, sleep management tools, and built-in GPS. Plus, you can receive smartphone notifications and control Spotify when your phone is nearby, and it's water resistant up to 50 metres. It's super easy to use, making the perfect Mother's Day gift for health-conscious or tech-savvy mums. And just in time for Mother's Day, Harvey Norman have a great offer on the Fitbit Versa 3. Save $100 off the recommended retail price and get it for an incredible $198 in black, midnight or pink. This fantastic offer ends May the 17th.
Check out this great offer at a Harvey Norman store near you.
The all-new Amarok is finally here at Southern Volkswagen Ranella. The all-new Amarok is in stock and ready to test drive. Don't delay. Call Southern Volkswagen now and test drive today. Just 25 minutes from the CBD. Only at Southern Volkswagen. LVD 152780.
BDO Fast Movers SA celebrates South Australia's fastest growing, most innovative and arguably smartest small to medium enterprises.
Now, we're happy to announce that the top 25 businesses for 2023 have been announced. Congrats to Humani Hut on first place, Destination Homes on second place, and Five Cars coming in at third place.
These companies were recognised by the South Australian business community at EOS by Sky City on Friday. Well, the Friday just gone, 5th of May.
That's right. We'd also like to congratulate Codefish Studio, who won the Excellence in Business Award, Humani Hut on winning the Fastest Employment Growth Award, and Discount Party Suppliers on winning the Elevated Success Award.
Well done to all. For the full list of finalists, visit fastmoverssa.com.au.
Watching footy with your mates? Brilliant. But heading to the Adelaide Oval and watching the footy in a corporate box with your mates? That's awesome! Buy any Lion beer, including Hans Super Dry, West End, Stone and Wood, or Forex Gold from the Albion Hotel, Birkenhead Tavern, Lighthouse Wharf, the Excelsior, or the Sundowner in Whyalla for a chance to win. You and three mates living large in a corporate box at Adelaide Oval. There's 4 packages up for grabs. You just know it's a Barreau Hotel. T's and C's apply.
It's time to raise the bar. If you're organising an event, anything from a small meeting to a grand gala, you'll know there are many things to consider. So trust the experts at Adelaide Convention Centre to help you elevate your vision. With the support from our team at every stage, you'll be amazed at what can happen in turning each aspect into an unforgettable experience for both you and your guests. Contact our team and discover the magic to elevate your vision at Adelaide Convention Centre.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head online to 5AA Facebook or search 5AA on YouTube. This is Adelaide's 5AA.
A shower or two, 16 today with the 6:30 news. I'm Mel Usher.
Looking for the perfect winter exercise? Physio Extra offers clinical Pilates at 6 locations. PhysioExtra.com.
I want to say a few words about my father and why I believe this weekend is so important. But don't worry, unlike Lionel, I won't go on all night long.
The Prince of Wales taking to the stage at the coronation concert, which is currently happening outside Windsor Castle. William paying tribute to the new king and what the coronation means going forward.
At the heart of the pageantry is a simple message: service. My father's first words on entering Westminster Abbey were a pledge of service. It was a pledge to continue to serve, because for over 50 years, in every corner of the UK, across the Commonwealth and around the world, he has dedicated himself to serve others.
Performers at the concert include Katy Perry, Lionel Richie and Andrea Bocelli. A school gym at Hyde Park is looking a little worse for wear. A learner driver left Unley Road last night and slammed into the wall. The 17-year-old behind the wheel and his 62-year-old passenger weren't hurt, but he will be fined over the incident. Almost $15 billion has been set aside in tomorrow's budget to help fund various cost of living measures. Michael Packey has more.
The Albanese government maintains its cost of living package will help deal with rising prices but won't add to inflation. A number of measures have already been revealed, such as an energy rebate for households and small businesses. Increased childcare subsidies will kick in, as will changes to prescription medicines. Further budget initiatives will be outlined tomorrow night, which will likely see a boost to the job seeker rate and a particular focus on disadvantaged communities. The cost of living package will absorb $14.6 billion over the next 4 years.
There's been a double tragedy in Texas. 7 people have been killed in the US state after a car hit a group at a bus stop. It was in the vicinity of a shelter for homeless and migrants in Brownsville. The driver has been arrested and charged, the mowing down of people appearing to be intentional, while a gunman has shot and killed 8 people and wounded at least 7 others at a busy shopping mall in the city of Allen. The new season of MasterChef started last night, a week after one of the hosts was found dead. There were tributes on the project beforehand for Jocks on Frillo, Jamie Oliver among those remembering the celebrity chef.
All the stories, there's a consistency there. And the consistency is he made time for me. He was quite an extraordinary man. He set up this incredible journey in life, adventure to Australia, made his mark.
Women are being urged to ask their relatives about their family history of ovarian cancer. Organisation Pink Hope is using World Ovarian Cancer Day to get a conversation started about hereditary risk. Chief Executive Sarah Powell says the survival rate for people with ovarian cancer is just 46%, so early detection is vital.
There are symptoms, but unfortunately they're symptoms that women can come across, a lot, bloating, some abdominal pain, that kind of thing. But generally what we say is if your symptoms have persisted for more than 2 weeks, then go and see a doctor.
Now turning to 5AA Sport.
It's nearly tax time. Act now for immediate delivery on Mitsubishi Triton from Agostino Mitsubishi, Nailsworth and Elizabeth.
Here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Mel. Some breaking news, and Max Verstappen has just won the Miami Formula One Grand Prix. That was ahead of teammate Sergio Perez, Aussie Oscar Piastri, way back in 19th in the closing stages for him. Well, Port Adelaide forward Junior Rioli faces a nervous wait from the match review officer following yesterday's narrow 5-point win against Essendon at Adelaide Oval. He was involved in an incident which left Bombers defender Jordan Ridley concussed, the Power making it 5 straight wins to cement 5th spot. Meantime, Melbourne young gun Jacob Van Rooyen has been offered a 2-game ban for striking. The Demons forward collected Gold Coast Charlie Ballard in the head while attempting to spoil. Sydney has fallen to its 3rd straight loss, going down to Collingwood by 29 points at the MCG. Swans coach John Longmire says the Pies got some easy goals in the last quarter.
Not getting the right player back on the ruck on the line or the key defender, basic stuff that we should get done. Thought at 3/4 time we were right in the hunt, and some basic execution, and they were very good in the last quarter.
And there was one other game to wrap up the round yesterday with St Kilda 30-point winners against North Melbourne. Let's go to soccer, and the hot streak of Norwegian striker Martin Odegaard has kept Arsenal's title hopes alive. The Gunners producing a 2-0 away victory against Newcastle.
Jorginho to Odegaard, who fancies it. What a strike from Martin Odegaard! There is one Norwegian in the Premier League who's got 5 goals in his last 5 games. And it's not Erling Haaland, it is Martin Odegaard.
The audio thanks to Optus. Meantime, West Ham has upset Manchester United 1-0 in this morning's other match. And the third quarter has just started in the NBA playoffs with the Philadelphia 76ers leading the Boston Celtics 69-58. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now the 5AA forecast.
See any issue firsthand with AutoCam. Real-time video, direct to you from your Automaster's technician.
Heading for a top of 16 today with a shower or two tomorrow 18, partly cloudy Wednesday also 18. Right now it's 6 degrees. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Breakfast on 5AA. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
Book a test drive of the incredible Cherry Motor 5 today. Visit gocherry.com.au.
23 minutes to 7, police and weather not too far away. We've been called by a listener who's just returned to Adelaide from Dallas. Newsworthy for the latest mass shooting that's taken place there at an outlet mall, the vision of which is truly horrific. But we'll talk to her about about that experience, what it's like coming back, because we opined at the start of the program what it's like having to go there now, with it being constantly on your mind. So
when you look at the amount of emergency and rescue vehicles, the cost of policing a society that has become this completely lawless must just be off the charts. There'd be 80 vehicles at this thing. Like, don't they ever just stop and go, yeah, this has become a bit of a thing?
There's got to be a better way. You'd think so. Apparently not, though. 22 to 7. On Friday morning, we had the pleasure of chatting with a number of Britons who were waiting out to see the new king at the coronation. They were either sitting at home drinking espresso martinis, waiting to try and force their way through the crowds, or they got in early and slept out like Marie did. Slept out overnight in the cold, waiting to see the king. We wanted to catch up with Marie and see how it all went for her, and she joins us again now on 5AA Breakfast. Marie, good morning to you. Take us through
Good morning.
how your weekend was.
Oh, since I last spoke to you, it's been a crazy but amazing ride. So we had front row seats, obviously, because we've been camping out all night. The heavens opened, so we were absolutely all wet through to the skin. But oh boy, we don't regret it for a single second. It was just the most amazing spectacle. Being, so close and, being able to see the king and the queen and, Prince William and his children. Oh, it was just magnificent.
So it's 10 o'clock on Sunday night now in England. Marie, are you
it is indeed.
Nice and snug and warm at home now?
Yes, I am. Yeah, we spent last night in London just because we were too knackered or too drunk to get home otherwise. I'm not quite remember which.
So
but we did sleep for about 14 hours.
Oh wow! So that wasn't the only espresso martini you had when we spoke to you Friday morning our time, I take it.
No. I think we had a couple of bottles of bubbly to celebrate once he was crowned. So that was even before the carriages went past us again.
So how close did you get to the royals, Marie?
Really, really close. We could see, just everything. It was just, I've never been so close to, I didn't have the luxury of meeting the Queen when she was alive. So seeing, Charles and Camilla so close and, Prince William and, his wife and children was just magnificent.
Did you have a favourite moment from it all, Marie?
Oh, I'm not sure. I think it was probably when they were coming back because they had the old gold coach, which is the last time it will be seen in a procession because it's been retired after the coronation. So, so that was amazing because that was the last time we were ever going to see that apart from it being in a museum, so it was great.
The marching was really impressive, I thought. I like that bit and just how amazingly in time they were. And like the guys with the black and white colour combo with the gloves and the way their hands were all moving exactly the same time.
Oh, I know. They must have practised for, since the Queen passed away probably to get it so perfect. It was just... wonderful, and seeing all the other soldiers from the Commonwealth was just brilliant.
There's been some negative commentary around it, and I would fully admit to you, Marie, that I made some comments at the start of our show this morning about whether the cost was justified in everybody's mind. Do you think that's an issue that? I mean, I don't know. Would you regard that as what we Australians call whinging, and that we should just sort of pull our heads in and accept that this is part of Britain's history and that it's worth the money, or do you think that people in England have some concerns about that too?
Oh, I completely understand the concerns. It is a lot of money to spend. But I was reading somewhere today, I can't remember where I read it, but actually the money that we pay for the coronation or for any other big royal occasion, actually the revenue that comes into the country from tourists and whatnot coming into the UK far outweighs the money that we pay for it. So
yeah,
a little bit of whinging, but I completely understand.
What did you do when the official procession had ended, Marie? Did you go to the balcony, or did you try and make your way home? What did you do?
Oh, we decided we weren't going to fight the masses getting to the balcony. So we stood in the middle of the mall and watched all the flyover with the red arrows, which was great. And then we tried to get home, but the police closed all of the tube stations around. So we just felt like we were walking forever. And then there was excuse my croaky voice. And then there was the protests as well, which is also colliding with the people trying to leave and the police closing the tube stations.
Well, Marie, we'll let you go. We'll let you recover your voice there because you've had a big weekend, and you get warm, stay inside. It sounds like just a once-in-a-lifetime experience, and we thank you so much for sharing it with us.
Absolutely. No, thanks for having me on again, guys. And
We're going to make you
have a good day.
We're going to make you our New England correspondent, Marie. I tell you what, if ever you do a family holiday and come to Adelaide, come into Adelaide, and we can give you some of our local wine instead of the espresso martinis.
Good on you, Marie.
Fabulous. Thanks, guys.
17 minutes to 7. Lots of text still coming through on the Duttons text line.
One here, quite a few along these lines. I love the coronation, I love the history, and I love the pageantry. Nice balanced one here from Josh. Morning, boys. I can't stand the thought of hereditary titles and people born into these exalted positions, but the pageantry ceremony and tradition was pretty impressive. Sue in Christie's Beach says, read the shootings in the States. My partner's holidaying in Denver with family who live there. I only hope the next 4 weeks go as fast and as safely as the last 4. Thank you, Sue. Neil, with a degree of accuracy, says, good morning. Hey, Will, I think Dave may now believe in the old adage of happy wife, happy life, and is now pro-Republican. Oh, my wife she wasn't enjoying it.
She didn't seem, based on her Twitter activity, to be enjoying the coronation.
She was never really sort of, champing at the bit to watch it.
When she tweeted about her pro-republicanism, I figured you'd sort of had her handcuffed at the couch, forcing her to watch it.
I didn't
almost
even know
Clockwork Orange style.
Yeah, that's right, exactly. Maddie from Shido Park, g'day Matt, says, g'day Penmo and Will, didn't watch the coronation. I think it's time for us to be a republic. They should add a question about that to the Voice referendum. P.S. Sturt, now 5-zip, best start since 1978. Not sure if that's the best year to refer to.
Speaking of
lost 2 games that year.
Of your viewing choices over the weekend, how many of our listeners watched MasterChef last night? I imagine lots of houses would have had discussions like ours did about, given everything that's transpired with Jock's sad and premature passing, thought I didn't want to watch it. I'm not the biggest MasterChef fan. My wife is a massive MasterChef fan, and she said she really did. She loved Jock. For me,
she really wanted to watch it.
She really wanted to watch it.
My daughter's a massive, massive fan. She was mad keen. That's why we had the early barbecue dinner, so we could clear the decks to watch it.
Now, I don't know if it goes to the fact that I'm not as big a fan of the show in the first place, but for me, it was I didn't want to sit through that on my Sunday night. I'm just interested to know what our listeners think and how that discussion went in their household. 8223 let us know. Did you watch it, or was it something you wanted to avoid? You can text us to on the Duttons text line with your thoughts.
I mean, the first thing we all said sitting around was like, this poor bloke, this time last week he was alive. It's bracing. But equally, it's I can see why. I mean, his life's work is food, the enjoyment of food, the enjoyment of the community of friends and family that you have around with food, and not showing it doesn't achieve anything.
No, they got a right to show up. Individuals' decisions about whether they wanted to watch it or not. I think is interesting.
Yeah, let us know, folks.
8223 We're going to check traffic in a moment. In fact, we've got some calls coming through. Might take a call quickly first. Lou says there's a couple who want to have their say on this. Then we're going to talk Dallas just before 7 o'clock. Sue is on the line. Morning to you, Sue.
Morning, guys. Yes, I watched MasterChef last night, and I loved it. It was the tribute beforehand was beautiful, and I thought it's such a lovely, upbeat, good feeling show, and it was just a tribute to Jock and what he did so well.
Yeah.
And the best of him came through. They're lovely contestants. Gee, they can cook. And I'm looking forward to this season, and I had no problem watching it at all.
Yeah.
I think it'll be good this year, and he wanted it to go ahead. He'd seen the episode just the night before he passed, and he was so pleased with it. So have a look at it. And there's a lovely South Australian contestant in there. She's beautiful, and yeah, it was great. And as a MasterChef person, I've watched every episode. I've never missed one, and I had no problem enjoying Jock and just seeing him in his element and doing what he loved.
Yeah, that's a good
great
account,
call,
Sue.
Sue. Thank you for that. 8223 0000, the number you can text us to on the Duttons text line. We're going to check traffic for the first time this morning. Come back with police and weather in just a moment. For your chance to win a $4 million grand prize, visit homelottery.com.au.
Thanks, Will, and good morning. Roads are looking the goods today. No great dramas. If you're up early, about to jump at the car and head to work. Do have some works at Ridgehope, which might slow you up. North East Road near Tolly Road. Got a lane out of action, Munopara, Main North Road near Mile Avenue. We're down to 40 k's for works at Waterloo Corner. North-south motorway near Port Wingfield Road ramp. Speeds are reduced and a lane closed there too. Cameras, Berrima Road, Shadow Park and Fitzroy Terrace at North Adelaide. Hungry? Head to a Port Tower, get the value-packed Bondi Burger Box for just $16.95 or grab 5 delicious crispy chicken strips for just $5 for a limited time at a Porto. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Whether you're a sparky, a chippy, a fiery or a bikey, whether they call you curly, tubby or tiny, whether next door means a few feet or a few miles, we know the weather's harsh in South Australia. But Olympic Industries carports, verandas and sheds are tougher than most. And if they're strong enough in the country, they'll be strong enough in the city. Some say strong as an ox, others say hard as nails. We just say built to last. Olympic Industries.
For nearly 40 years, no one has done certified used cars quite like Steinborner Automotive, with dedicated yards including SA's best range of commercials loaded and ready to go, including SA's only dedicated small car and SUV centre, and SA's only large SUV and 4x4 centre suited for any lifestyle. Steinborner still also has the best range of Commodores, from ZBs to the collectibles. View all late model used vehicles at steinborner.com.au. Steinborner Automotive. It's well worth a trip.
Good food and great times. That is what's on the menu at the Griffins, a gem of the city's east overlooking leafy Hindmarsh Square.
With 6 versatile and customisable function spaces, let the Griffins function team host a productive work conference or create a memorable celebration lunch. Birthdays, engagements, even weddings, the Griffins function team can help you create magical memories.
Get to the Griffins for their $20 Griffins burger and beer, wine or softie deal. That's a beef, chicken or veggie burger with a pint, wine or soft drink for just $20. That's available for lunch or dinner 7 days a week. So check out thegriffins.com.au and be sure to follow them on Facebook for all the latest events.
Good food and great times at the Griffins, the place to meet, Hindmarsh Square.
Australia's greatest sporting rivalry is back. The 2023 Ampol State of Origin Series. Kick off your Origin experience the right way at the official pre-game party inside the pavilion at Adelaide Oval on Wednesday, May 31. Mingle with rugby league legends and enjoy 2 hours of food and drinks. This is the perfect way to start your Origin experience. To book, see nrl.com/hospitality. or email hospitality@nrl.com.au.
Always expect the best from Adelaide Appliance Gallery, home of designer appliances, which means right now you'll save up to 15% on Falcon upright cookers, plus receive a special 10-year warranty for this month only. Also this month, Miele are offering a 10-year warranty. That's a 10-year warranty on Miele this month only. We can also arrange delivery, installation and removal of your old appliance. Adelaide Appliance Gallery, home of designer appliances, Payneham Road, St Peters. T's and C's apply.
9 News is made in Adelaide for Adelaide.
And has been since 1959.
I'm Kate Collins.
And I'm Brenton Raglas. Join us for 9 News tonight at 6.
Breakfast on 5AA. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
Test drive the Cherry Emotor 5 at Cherry Glen Osmond from 33k drive away with immediate delivery. Go Cherry.
9 minutes to 7. Let's talk about the weather of the week. Jenny Horvat, senior forecaster at the Bureau, joins us. Jenny, are we going to have to get used to these cool mornings, do you think?
Oh, look, we should get a little bit of a reprieve with the mornings coming up. But yeah, no, it has been a bit chilly. Yesterday was the coldest start to the year that we've seen this year at 4.6 at West Terrace, and this morning we managed to get down to 5.8 at about 4:15 this morning. But those minimums do look like they are coming up. So looking at around maybe an 8 or 9 for tomorrow morning. So yeah, just not too bad, but still a little bit on the on the cooler start. So we are looking at temperatures of around 16 degrees today across the city and suburbs, 14 for Mount Barker. Our dominant weather system is a high-pressure system, which will keep things pretty stable for the week. Couldn't rule out a little bit of light shower activity today, but most of it should be offshore. It's pushing up in the southerly across the Gulfs at the moment. Not dissimilar for Tuesday. Again, we're looking at around 18 degrees, possible light showers, but are not expecting much in that. Looking at a bit of a dry middle of the week there, temperatures of around 18 to 20. Friday, we've got a bit of a weak front coming through. Timing's a little bit uncertain with that, but we're not expecting too much with that. And this stage looking like a mostly dry weekend. Temperatures back up in the high teens, maybe even a 20 there, guys.
Thank you, Jenny. Raymond's called in with a bit of a traffic tip. Raymond, what's happening out there?
It's a crawl here on the Salisbury Highway Port River Expressway for anybody heading west towards the port. We are a little bit better than a crawl at the moment, all the way back to the Port Wakefield Road overpass, pretty much.
Do you know why?
No, I can't see that far ahead, boys. So if obviously you've got nothing, but so I'm keen to hear what the problem is and how far it's going to, be like this. But yeah, so if you're heading this way, you find a different way because you'll be here for a while by the look of it.
All right, thank you, Raymond. Appreciate that. If anyone else can a bit further up the line give us a sense of what the issue is, let us know. 8223 0000. Let's head to Saypole. Senior Constable Rhett Davis joins us. Rhett, a learner driver's had a crash.
Yeah, emergency services were called to a school on Unley Road, Hyde Park, about 6:45 p.m. last night after a car left the road and crashed through the wall of the gym. Fortunately, neither the 17-year-old learner driver nor his 62-year-old passenger were injured in the collision. The young driver will receive a fine for failing to maintain effective control of his vehicle, and the Mercedes-Benz station wagon had to be towed from the scene.
Geez, that's a pretty brutal first encounter behind the wheel. The poor kid. Rhett, also, what about this rat bag in Gillis Downs, caught speeding and been arrested?
Yeah, just after 5:10 p.m. yesterday, police were performing mobile speed detection on the Air Highway at Gillis Downs when they detected a Nissan Utility travelling at 143 in a 110 km/h zone. The driver, a 28-year-old man from Sejuna, allegedly refused to submit to a drug test, refused to provide his personal details, and also refused to get out of the vehicle, so was arrested. Police also searched the vehicle and located an amount of drugs and a sword. The man was charged with speeding, refused drug test, refused details, hindered police, carried an offensive weapon and possessed a controlled drug. The man was refused bail and will appear in Wyler Magistrates Court today.
Good work there. Rhett Davis, Senior Constable Rhett Davis from Saypole. Thanks for that.
Getting a number of calls through with some more information on Raymond's observation about the traffic issue. There's a 4-car accident along the Salisbury Highway that seems to be the source of the crawl that he described to us just a few moments ago. So 4-car accident along the Salisbury Highway. If it's avoidable for you, it's something that's advisable. Earlier in the program, we were talking about this latest shooting incident in the United States, mass shooting at a mall in Texas. Emil from Hectorville, who listens to the program, has just returned back to Adelaide from Dallas. Emil, good morning to you. You were in Dallas when the shooting happened?
No, so I've been in Dallas for the last 2 weeks. In fact, a whole bunch of Australians have been there. There's a big robotics worldwide competition right in the centre of Dallas. So there's been about 50 countries plus represented with about 60,000 students from around the world over the last 2 weeks.
So were you staying in downtown, Emil?
No, we were staying in a suburb called Addison, which is about 25 minutes from where the shooting happened. But I heard you mention Deep Ellum. Deep Ellum is this is my second time in Dallas. It's a pretty cool, eclectic kind of place, but it wouldn't be the place I kind of stay in terms of a hotel stay. It's a nice, it's a bit. Consider it like walking down Hindley Street during the day, then Hindley Street at night on a Saturday night. That kind of place.
Because they've got a lot of bars and music venues and stuff like that, by the sounds of it.
Yeah, there's a few other really good places as well, like to stay in the suburbs. But I guess one of the things that I picked up over the last couple of visits to Dallas is, like, genuinely the people are some of the nicest that you'll meet. So real Texan in that part of Texas, hospitality and that vibe. And I mean, we ate so well. I could give you a whole range of like little nooks and crannies where we found some of the best food.
Did you get into the barbecue, mate?
Yeah. If you want really good barbecue in Deep Ellum, there's a place called Terry Black's. He's awesome. He's well known. Terry Black's is probably the number one in the heart of Dallas. But where we stayed was, 20 minutes north of the center of Dallas in a suburb called Addison. And again, it's not really nice suburb, and the people are really quite nice. But that culture around guns and weapons, you never break, because like two times now visiting Dallas in that area, you kind of get chatting to the Lyft and Uber drivers and people around, and they honestly just see it in a totally different outlook to us, which we can't comprehend. Their view of it is the more weapons you have, the better, because eventually, like your law-abiding 80-year-old granny will have a weapon, and then she'll be able to like put down someone that's doing the wrong thing, and that mentality, like, we just balk at because it's so foreign to us. But that's honestly such an ingrained view that it's very hard to argue when in that space. So you kind of, you can't really reason with it. But from a perspective of people and culture, obviously, the place, you've got the grassy knoll, etc., for where JFK was assassinated, and the history and the culture around some of the art and space of Dallas is pretty amazing. And like I said, like there was groups of students from around the world, from every 50-plus countries, Oman, Mexico, Thailand, obviously Australia, like around, there were 60,000 kids plus over the last 2 weeks.
It'd be amazing. It sounds like a terrific event. And
to Emil's point about how all permeating it is, though, went to this barbecue joint called the Lockhart Smokehouse, and there's a mural on the wall. They painted, "Trespassers will be shot, survivors will be shot again," as a little joke. This isn't a family restaurant. And it's just this permanent presence of gun culture everywhere you look.
Minute to 7, we're going to take you through some of the news of the morning next, including some highlights from the Coronation concert.
Hi Calvin, it's Michael from Automasters here. I've just got your car on the hoist and I just wanted to show you.
Now you can see what we see.
The engine oil is very low. I'll just show you that now.
AutoCam.
This is your cabin filter. As you can see, a fair bit of dust and dirt.
Real-time video sent direct to you from your Automasters technician.
You can see the outside of the throttle body's nice and clean. The inside here.
See any issue firsthand. How good? Real-time reporting with instant SMS approval. Call 1300 Automasters. Great service guaranteed.
Now, as we all know, SA continues to go through a housing crisis, but McGain Real Estate are trying to help as best they can.
So if you're a landlord looking to sell but you feel guilty about disrupting a great tenant, McGain want to help. They've got landlords ready to buy your property and keep that tenant in place.
McGain have hundreds of landlords ready to buy investment properties right now, so there's no need to stress about asking the tenant to move out or waiting for the lease to end. These astute buyers know the value of a good tenant and want to keep them in place and happy.
And with these investment buyers ready to go, you could save thousands on marketing, meaning it's a win-win.
There's a reason you see signs popping up everywhere saying, "Sold by McGain." Again, visit mcgain.com.au.
Hurry into Ranella Mazda. We're stocked with CX-5 and CX-9 ready for immediate delivery. No reasonable offer will be refused. CX-5 and CX-9 stock must be cleared. Just 25 minutes from the CBD. Only at Ranella Mazda. LVD 152780.
Online, on DAB Digital Radio, and on 1395 AM. Talking Adelaide. This is Adelaide's 5AA.
A shower or two, 16 today with the 7 o'clock news. I'm Mel Usher.
Physio Extra has Mother's Day sorted. 5 Pilates classes plus socks, all for $120. PhysioExtra.com.
The coronation celebrations continue in the UK. After the ceremony and community lunches, the festivities are now centred on Windsor Castle. That's where the coronation concert is currently underway. Actor Hugh Bonneville introducing the new king.
The artist formerly known as Prince.
Meantime, the Prince of Wales has honoured his dad on stage.
Pa, we are all so proud of you, and I also want to express my pride and gratitude
for the millions of people who serve in the forces, in classrooms, hospital wards and local communities.
Katy Perry has performed, as well as Lionel Richie and Andrea Bocelli. And the King and Queen say they're deeply touched by national celebrations to mark their coronation. In a personal statement, Charles and Camilla said they are profoundly grateful to those who made it such a glorious occasion. A fail for a learner driver at Hyde Park. The 17-year-old's car left Unley Road shortly before 7 last night and crashed through the wall of a school gym. Senior Constable Rhett Davis says the driver and his 62-year-old passenger were not injured in the collision.
The young driver will receive a fine for failing to maintain effective control of his vehicle, and the Mercedes-Benz station wagon had to be towed from the scene.
Tomorrow's budget will contain a major cost of living package worth $14.6 billion. Michael Packy has more from Canberra.
A number of measures have already been outlined to help tackle rising prices. Households and small businesses will receive an energy rebate worth up to $500. Childcare subsidies have been extended. People will be able to buy more medicine using one script, and money has been allocated to fund a pay increase for aged care workers. Further budget announcements will be made tomorrow night, which is likely to include a boost to the job seeker rate, but also more help to get long-term unemployed back into the workforce. The combined cost of living measures will have a price tag just shy of $15 billion over the next 4 years.
A funeral service will be held today for jockey Dean Holland, who was killed at a race meet in country Victoria last month. The funeral is being held at Flemington in Melbourne. A GoFundMe campaign for the jockey's young family has so far raised more than $1.7 million. There'll also be a service here at Morphettville. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
It's nearly tax time. Act now for immediate delivery on Mitsubishi Triton from Agostino Mitsubishi, Nailsworth and Elizabeth.
Here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Mel. So motorsport first, and the domination of Red Bull has continued in the Formula One category, with Max Verstappen winning while teammate Sergio Perez was second. It's the fourth 1-2 finish for the team in 5 races. Fernando Alonso was third, while Aussie Oscar Piastri finished back in 19th. Let's go to football, and Port Adelaide coach Ken Hinkley is confident midfielder Zach Butters will be okay, despite coming from the field with a knee injury during yesterday's 5-point win against Essendon. Butters returned to play out the match, Hinkley admitting he thinks Butters tries to do too much.
Yeah, I don't like watching him play footy. He's very, very good at it, but I don't like watching him play. He's too tough for his own good. He does go back out there and do what he does, but I'm sure he's fine.
Still on footy, and St Kilda has registered a messy 30-point win over North Melbourne last night. Saints coach Ross Lyon admits it was a pretty average game of football.
Yeah, it was a messy game, wasn't it? I think both teams would want to get rid of it pretty quick. I mean, I can't speak for the other team, but yeah, it was frustrating. Just full opportunities. We turned them into half, so I thought we tried to take the game on and play quick, but we just ran into errors.
And in yesterday's other match, Collingwood took care of Sydney by 29 points. 2 games in the English Premier League overnight, with Arsenal 2-0 winners against Newcastle, while West Ham beat Manchester United 1-0. The West Coast Fever has gone down by a goal in the Suncorp Super Netball League, losing 74-73 against the Melbourne Vixens, and that means the Adelaide Thunderbirds finish round 8 in top spot. And Carlos Alcaraz has won the Madrid Open, beating Jan-Lennard Struff in 3 sets, while on the women's side it was Arina Sabalenka getting it done in 3 sets against Iga Swiatek. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now checking 5AA traffic.
Worried about cheap insurance? Who offers great value cover you won't regret? Amy does. Before buying insurance issued by Amy, read the PDS and TMD at amy.com.au and consider whether it's right for you.
At Dry Creek, look out for a smash on the Salisbury Highway. It's at Dry Creek, causing delays inbound. It's as you're approaching the Wingfield interchange. Busy at the moment, South Road at Edwardstown. Good lane out of action at Munopara today. Main North Road near Mile Avenue, with cameras Berrima Road, Shadow Park, and Education Road at Happy Valley. This May, Pop Jane T-Marts have great buy 3, get 1 free, plus instant cashback deals with 15 stores located in Adelaide. They'll look after you. T's and C's apply. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Now the 5AA forecast.
See any issue firsthand with AutoCam. Real-time video, direct to you from your Automasters technician.
16 degrees for your Monday, with a shower or 2, then a shower or 2 and 18 tomorrow, partly cloudy, and Wednesday 18. Right now it's 8 degrees. More news as it happens on 5AA.
It's time to raise the bar. If you're organising an event, anything from a small meeting to a grand gala, you'll know there are many things to consider. So trust the experts at Adelaide Convention Centre to help you elevate your vision. With the support from our team at every stage, you'll be amazed at what can happen in turning each aspect into an unforgettable experience for both you and your guests. Contact our team and discover the magic to elevate your vision at Adelaide Convention Centre.
AutoCam.
So this is the air filter out of your car.
Real-time video sent direct to you from your Automasters technician.
It's not actually the wheel bearing. What it is, the handbrake.
AutoCam. Real-time reporting with instant SMS approval. Call 1300 Automasters.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head online to 5AA Facebook or search 5AA on YouTube.
The first time on this Monday morning. Stephen Rowe will wrap the weekend's footy action in a moment.
I tell you what, nothing gets Will up and about like a bit of Irene Cara early on a Monday
what gave
morning.
Me away?
You should have seen him. He had the leggings going.
Well, sometimes you don't need to share everything, David. Dr. Andy Thomas is coming up after 7:30 as well. Looking forward to having Andy Thomas on the program, and then a little bit later in the morning, of course, Lucy's Movie Bowl. Let's get into the news stories of the morning first here at 8 minutes after 7. This is Budget Eve, and some of the final details are now becoming clear, including a $14.6 billion cost of living package, which will, according to the federal government, lower CPI in the 2023-24 financial year, which means so lower inflation. Won't add to broader pressures, but will alleviate some of that cost of living pressure that is harming everyday households in Australia, which is it makes it the Goldilocks of fiscal measures. Then the package includes $1.5 billion in energy relief, which will give more than 5 million households and about 1 million businesses up to $500 off their power bills. The expectation is that there will be payments for single parents. The payments you get currently when your youngest child turns 8, they will be extended by up to 4 years. Job seeker payments will be boosted for all ages, not just those over 55, as had been speculated from about a week ago.
Isn't the thinking though that the increases will be higher for older people?
So it'll be tapered, yeah, but it'll be broader based.
So everyone will get an increase.
Everyone will get an increase. That's the expectation here. Now, this is all obviously based on off-the-record conversations with the Treasurer and Treasury, you would imagine. They've announced changes to prescriptions that are part of this $14.6 billion cost of living package as well, that we've spoken about at length in the past, that could save people to $180 a year per medication. The other side of this, the budget repair component of this, is the expectation that there'll be $17.8 billion in savings and what they're calling reprioritised spending, and that the new spending initiatives and measures will be offset by higher tax revenues, record commodity prices, and other unannounced savings to this point in time. That's why there'll be a surplus.
The electricity stuff is going to be really interesting. So there's about 5.5 million Australian households who receive government payments, including job seeker, family tax benefit, the age pension. Now, they are in line to receive up to $500 a year in energy bill relief, which is a pretty significant saving. Now, obviously, not everybody is going to be eligible, and the details are a bit sketchy because apparently it's going to vary from state to state. And as is always the case, there'll be a certain point where you earn just enough money not to be eligible for this. So it's the people in the middle who are at the sort of upper end of bottom, to use a successionism, who are probably going to end up missing out.
Here is the Treasurer, Jim Chalmers, speaking on Sky News ahead of the budget.
My focus really is to try and get in the budget in as good a nick as we can. The much bigger contribution to the improvement is a stronger labour market. We were expecting originally real wages growth in the middle of next year. Now we expect it at the start of next year. A cost of living package which is broader than what has been speculated and which applies to more than one age cohort. So it'll be different around the country. We've struck 8 different deals with different jurisdictions around the country. Well, I think we've struck a good balance here.
So we'll hear more from the Treasurer tomorrow and have some more detail to tease out then. On the program this morning, though, after 8:30, we're going to get more into the cost of living element of this, to tease out some of the areas where this might alleviate pressures and where there's still work to be done. But we'll get into that after 8:30. Obviously, that's a conversation that we'd like you to be a part of as well on 8223 0000. Maybe some of these things are going to help you. Maybe you feel like they're missing the mark. Love to hear your thoughts. We heard from Raymond in the last hour on the program about a traffic issue on the Salisbury Highway. Subsequently, listeners said there was a 4-car accident there. Raymond, you've just driven through the area now, mate. What have you seen?
Yeah, definitely 4 cars. Noticed the tail. So one is quite extensively damaged. But the hold-up basically is that one of the lanes is blocked. So 2 lanes trying to get into one. That's what's holding everyone up. Emergency services are on the scene. But to be honest with you, I don't think it'll take too long to clear the road. So a little bit later this morning it might be all right. But yeah, that's the hold up at the moment. Once you get past it, it's all good. Clean. So
it's great information, Raymond.
Thanks,
Appreciate
Raymond.
you. Thank you for following it up as well. The state government say about 20 minutes of delays right now, according to the website that tracks those traffic delays. So hopefully, as Raymond says, that one does get cleared up fairly soon. Going on in the background, whilst we've been talking this morning, the big coronation concert has taken place following the coronation this weekend, attended by 20,000 members of the public, those that got tickets. Significantly fewer than those who thought they got tickets. You might recall there was a ticket-related stuff up whereby people misinterpreted the email that had been sent to them. It said, "You've got tickets," and people thought, "Well, that's good because it means I've got tickets." When in fact it meant
a literal reading of that sentence is "You've got tickets."
Yeah, that's right. That's where they made their mistake. They thought it was English. It turned out you've got tickets if you click this link. That means you've secured your tickets. So those 20,000 people that turned up went and clicked the link. There was countless others that thought they had tickets that ultimately found that they had in fact missed out. I like this from backstage before he went on stage. Lionel Richie speaking.
Well, in terms of song choices for tonight, did the King request anything specific, or did any of the other members of the royal family want you to do anything?
No, I got my request list. Now, who it came from, I have a sneaky suggestion that it came from the top.
Very good, very good.
Yeah.
So will there be, will the crowd be dancing on the ceiling tonight, do you reckon?
Everyone thinks that, huh? You little sneakies. Everyone wants to know. I can't reveal. It's a royal secret. You understand how that works. But I can tell you there are 2 popular songs of mine. That's it.
Well, I'm sure you've met the King before.
Oh, yes.
If you do meet him tonight, what do you want to say to him, or what do you want to chat about after the concert?
Well, I know that everyone is taking this as a very solemn moment, and it is a very serious moment. I had a chance to really speak to him. He is so happy, number one. And on top of that, he's funny. So he's kind of taking the mickey out of it and saying, I mean, tonight we're going to, same with you, we're going to dance on the ceiling, what are we going to do? But he's really looking forward to it. He's throwing a party. Think about that. This is unusual. I understand this has not happened this often where you have this kind of a thing after the big one. So I'm very happy about this. He's very loose.
And then the reveal came not too long ago, in fact. Andrea Bocelli.
Andrea
Bocelli.
Yeah.
What did I say?
Andrea.
Makes
him sound like
it's his sister,
some chick.
Andrea. The other thing they did.
So is the King there?
The King's there.
He's
the
there.
King's tapping his
out.
toe along. He's grooving along with the concert and the music.
And Camilla.
The weird thing that they did, they've also got a series of these set piece videos of people sending messages, but sort of in the context of things that they're famous for. For example, Tom Cruise.
Your Majesty, you can be my wingman anytime.
Tom Cruise,
he's on the plane.
He's on flying a jet, saying you can be my wingman anytime. There's a heap of those.
I thought Tom might have sent a video of himself jumping him down on a couch.
See, that was the. I think that was the B side. But so there's a whole heap of those that are getting played at the moment as well. People are doubtless watching along this morning. 8223 0000 for your thoughts. You can text us on the The Duttons text line 0480 1395.
A lot of cynicism towards it and a lot of love for it too. Messages like Kingsley saying, Dave and Will, party poopers. I agree the church process was a bit overdone, but the procession with all the horses and the marching by all the men and women of the Army, Navy and Air Force was spectacular. Have a good day. I tell you what, I reckon that the monarchists of Australia or the people who just simply love a good time, and most of us fit into that category, you know, I know I've got a lot of mates who had coronation parties on Saturday night. I reckon it was one of those sort of time and a place things. The ABC's coverage, and I'm not going to try to go down sort of crazy neocon culture wars paths too often, but I was watching the ABC in the first hour. You would have thought it was a Four Corners documentary about the history of racism in Australia. Like the coverage was just relentlessly negative. Well, they had a panel that had Stan Grant was hosting this conversation along with Craig Foster.
Who's the head of the Republican movement now?
Yeah. So the entire thing was about...
Why would you have the head of a Republican movement on the...
Well, it just seemed to run contrary to the spirit of the night. And, you know, I reckon there... Back me up, folks. There would be people of a conservative persuasion who thought, well, the national broadcaster will, of course, in accordance with its charter, do a terrific job bringing this moment of history to our screens. And, I mean, they were always like wearing black armbands and, you know, it was relentlessly negative. And look, you know, I say that someone who's, you know, is a bit of a bleeding heart on a lot of these things are going to vote yes to The Voice and what have you. But watching it, I thought, they're not really picking the mood here.
Well, why cover it then?
Well, moment of shame, perhaps.
But if you can't find enough people to talk, there's a major event going on, and the only people you can find that want to talk about it is talking about how horrible the whole thing is. You got to ask the question, well, why did you give it any airtime, do you? Why'd they have it on?
Well, that's a good question.
That's just
I suppose
absolutely
they had it on so they
ludicrous.
could take relentless pot shots at it for a full hour. I mean, in their defence, when it started, they cut to the toffee-nosed commentary and, you know, and here comes the rickety chair. What, you think that they could afford a new chair?
Oh, they
don't
don't like new stuff.
Go down to IKEA and get one for $60.
For your chance to win a $4 million grand prize, visit homelottery.com.au.
Thanks, Will. Dry Creek got a smash on the Salisbury Highway. The digital approaching the Wingfield interchange. Got some really solid delays inbound at the moment. Quite busy also, South Road at Edwardstown. Got some work slowing things up at Manopara today, down to 40 k's with the lane closed. It's Main North Road near Mile Avenue. And look out for cameras around about early today. Hub Drive, Aberfoyle Park, and you'll find another one, Walkerville Terrace at Gilberton. Order your C Coffee on the OTR app and enjoy freshly ground barista-made coffee. It's as easy as click and collect. OTR. Making life easy. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
5AA Mornings with Matthew Pantelis.
On the issue of gender-neutral language, a committee in State Parliament has written to councils to change signage wherever applicable, which refers to people as him and her.
Weekday mornings from 9.
Does it really matter if the sign says, for instance, a person must exercise control while walking his or her dog? Does it matter if it says his or her instead of their dog?
On 1395, Adelaide's 5AA.
Hello, I'm Lynn Andrews. For over 50 years, we have specialised in commercial and residential property management. But above all, we specialise in people, helping to make life easy for property investors and the tenants of their properties. Everyone is treated with integrity and respect. That's the Lynn Andrews way. For commercial and residential property management, we are here to help. Visit lynnandrews.com.au.
Okay, let's say you've signed a building contract, work is underway on your dream home, everyone's excited, and then one day, crunch, your builder hits rock while digging your footings.
That's the one sound you never want to hear. What happens next? Well, most builders will send you a nice letter and then bump up their price with a so-called variation.
But not Rossdale Homes. When you sign their absolute fixed price contract, there are no hidden costs or nasty surprises. The price is fixed, and that's why it's the industry's strongest contract.
So before you build, talk to Adelaide's most trusted builder, Rossdale Homes, because trust is a must.
Australia's greatest sporting rivalry is back with the 2023 Ampol State of Origin Series. Witness the game's best players square off in the ultimate fight for state pride as two of the greatest coaches, Freddie FIVEAA and Billy Slater, go head-to-head. The Maroons' dominant performance last year saw them reclaim the shield, so the Blues will be out to deny Queensland another series win. Ampol State of Origin kicks off Wednesday, May 31 at Adelaide Oval. Unreal. Secure your seats today at nrl.com/tickets.
Car, bus or truck window smashed, cracked, scratched or chipped? Call Complete Windscreens. For over 40 years, this family-owned SA company have given motorists a clear view of the road ahead with their 24-hour windscreen repair and replacement service. No one does it better than Hayden and Lindsay Dean at Complete Windscreens, which is the very reason you should tell your insurer you want Complete Windscreens on the job. You deserve the best, most reliable and cheapest. CompleteWindscreen.com.au. Don't just send it, ace it. I'm with Chris from ASIC Couriers, an SA family business, doing great things for your business.
Thanks, Rowie. Our drivers all undergo intensive training and the ASIC compliance team regularly audit our fleet. Plus, we use the latest satellite technology to track your deliveries. No matter what it is, we can deliver it safely and on time. Visit asiccouriers.com.au.
Don't just send it, ace it.
9 News is made in Adelaide for Adelaide.
And has been since 1959.
I'm Kate Collins.
And I'm Brenton Raglas. Join us for 9 News tonight at 6.
Breakfast on 5AA. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
Test drive the Cherry Emotor 5 at Cherry Glen Osmond from 33k drive away with immediate delivery. Go Cherry.
The relentless negativity of the ABC's coverage on Saturday. A lot of our listeners totally agree. One here saying, couldn't agree more, Dave, I switched off the ABC and turned to Channel 7. Another one here says, yep, I tuned out of Channel 2 because of what they were all saying and went to Channel 7. They were so bloody miserable. There you go.
It is an odd choice just in TV. It's sort of a TV sense. Could you imagine someone saying, we're going to broadcast the grand final this year, but we're going to stock the panel full of people that hate AFL football? Well, would you watch that if you were until the grand final?
I think all of the things that they were discussing were hugely important. I reckon that, Indigenous Australians got every right to go, oh, hang on, what are we celebrating this for? And, the whole history of countries being colonised under the name of the king and the flag of the invading nation, all of those things. Like, much as it drives people mad, you've got to have those conversations. But to your point, yeah, it'd be like in the whole lead up to the AFL grand final, you had a panel of the most heavily concussed men who've ever played the game, and the people from Slater and Gordon saying, when are we going to get compensation for what happened? Because it's a disgrace what this game's done to us. Like, it was just weird.
Yeah, it's bizarre. Just a bizarre choice.
Stephen Rowe on 5AA Breakfast.
Mixed bag for our local teams over the weekend. Rowie was watching it all. Win a corporate box at Adelaide Oval for you and your mates. Visit a Barrow Hotel for more. Morning to you, Rowie.
Pemo, Will, good morning. A chilly one as well. I'll start with the Crows. They played first, lost by 26 to Geelong. They didn't lose me as a supporter of their development or their game or the improvement. Sadly, I just think they fell back into their 2022 mode of just being great scrappers. They did that. They hung in the contest. They just lacked a bit of skill or class to hurt the opposition. Now, you have to say full credit to Geelong. They haven't won there for 20 years. But they lost contested ball, which they haven't for the last month, inside 50 in clearances, but they just turned it over. I think they just butchered it going forward. Funny thing is, guys, I felt if they got it together for 10 or 15 minutes of any of the quarters and scored heavily, they were still in the game. Now, I couldn't say that for the 4 previous years, so for me, that's an improvement.
They've had trouble, haven't they, Rowing, negotiating those smart drop-off defenders like Tom Stewart and Darcy Moore in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, exactly right, and they're bloody good players. So hang in there. They got St Kilda this week. Need to beat them at home on Sunday. We'll call it together, Will. If they lose that one, I will jump off there.
Yeah, I think that is this weekend. It is, to use a hoary old cliche, a must-win game. Because if they don't win this one, it's like, all right, actually, maybe they're not that good after all.
Yep. You start to think like that. I agree. Hey, Port have won, 5 straight since the untenable round 3 showdown loss. This time by 5 points to a fast-finishing Essendon. Unlike the Crows, when Port scrap, they've just got enough class to hit the scoreboard and win. They got a bit of polish around the ball. We know that. Again, they had 75 inside 50s who kicked 20 points. Is it Adelaide Oval? The last two games. The Crows kicked 16, they kicked 20. They were smashed in ruck and centre square. For those midfielders to keep them in, it was outstanding. And guess what, Port supporters? You'll be happy waking up this morning with the birds chirping. You're sitting top 4. You won the last 5. You won the free kick count 16-12. Hallelujah.
Hey, Rowie, it's interesting because I don't think any Port fan listening this morning feels like right now they're going at a rate where they're a genuine premiership contender. I just don't think that's not the vibe coming from Port. People think they feel like it's better than it was, but they're still a middling sort of a side. But you look at the ladder and you look at that top 4. Who's a genuine contender right now? Who's heads and shoulders above Port right now?
I think the top run for me, I think when Melbourne play their best footy, Collingwood and Geelong, they're on the top run. Then under that, I think just Brisbane. And I think if Brisbane can get it together, and they're going to want to, and then I've got probably Port and about 8 clubs all clumped into that. The funny thing about finals that we all know, and history repeats itself, you saw the Bulldogs get it together from outside the top 4 and other teams do it. If you can get your best team playing in form without any injuries in that month of September and get it together, you can do anything. So I wouldn't write them off. I tell you what, they're in a lot better place today than what they were after that untenable round 3 loss to Showdown, weren't they?
Yeah, absolutely.
They're not eating their own as much, are they? There's a little bit more tolerance.
When Kochie came on the show to talk to us that week after the Showdown, and remember too, the backdrop was Treaders going berserk in the lead up to it. It felt like Ken Hinkley might not last a month.
I know.
Like it felt. But what he has done now, whether Port fans who are in the anti-Ken camp like it or not, that bloke has turned everything around. They haven't put a foot wrong for 5 weeks. It's extraordinary. And the way he's coaching down on the boundary line, he looks like he gives a you-know-what. He's into it, and it's changed the dynamic.
Absolutely. Won 5 straight, outstanding. We'll speak to Cornsey and Treaders about that. We'll have both Crows and Port on. We'll take your calls. It is a Monday. We like to have a little bit of fun. We'll see you all at 4.
On your Rowie.
Good on you, Rowie. Win a corporate box, Adelaide Oval for you and your mates. Visit a Barreau Hotel for more. We've been talking about the potential of the space industry here in South Australia. We're the home of the space headquarters for the nation now. It means big events come to town and big names as well. Astronaut Andy Thomas, our guest next on 5AA Breakfast.
What's the best thing about winter? Definitely the Bob Burns Blinds Winter Warmer Special. Get super cozy with up to 40% off. That's up to 40% off our entire range of curtains and blinds, including our energy-efficient window coverings. With Bob Burns Blinds, you'll get that quality show home look, and you'll save money on energy bills by trapping the heat in your home. Get set for winter now with the Bob Burns Blinds Winter Warmer Special. Book your free measure and quote at bobburnsblinds.com.au.
Dream big, South Australia, because you could win big in the Hospital Research Foundation Home Lottery. The $4 million grand prize built by Scott Salisbury Homes in Melbourne could be yours. Plus, there's a catalogue bursting with over 13,000 prizes, including luxury cars, holidays and cash. With a 1 in 15 chance of winning, get your tickets today. Join the fight. To see full details, visit homelottery.com.au. Licence M14364.
Kenall Plumbers have been serving Adelaide homes and businesses for over 40 years, which is incredible. So they must be doing something right for South Australians.
Well, their success is proof of Ken Hall's commitment to great service, handpicking only the best people to be part of delivering the Ken Hall way of doing business.
The Ken Hall way runs through the entire family business, from the moment you pick up the phone to the completion of all the works.
And Ken Hall Plumbers have grown from humble beginnings, and they now offer a greater range of trade services, including electricians, roofers, tilers, general builders, home maintenance and full bathroom renovations.
If you haven't experienced the Ken Hall service and team of trades, we'll keep them top of mind for any plumbing issues. In fact, anything to do with plumbing, electrical, roofing, tiling, home maintenance and full bathroom renovations, give Ken a call 24/7 or visit kenhallplumbers.com.au.
This is Adelaide's 5AA.
A shower or two and 16 today with the 7:30 news. I'm Mel Usher.
Looking for the perfect winter exercise? Physio Extra offers clinical Pilates at 6 locations. PhysioExtra.com.
King Charles and Queen Camilla have joined 20,000 people outside Windsor Castle to watch the coronation concert. The Prince of Wales taking to the stage to honour his dad.
My father has always understood that people of all faiths, all backgrounds and all communities deserve to be celebrated and supported.
Performers have included Katy Perry dedicating her hit Firework to the new monarch. In tomorrow night's federal budget as part of a cost of living package. About 5.5 million households will receive the money and 1 million small businesses. Finance Minister Katie Gallagher says the government is working with the states and territories on the best way to distribute the benefit.
There's 8 various different arrangements that we're having to negotiate through, but we think we can land that, and we are mindful of making sure that it doesn't add to the inflation challenge.
Overall, the budget will contain $14.6 billion in cost of living relief. A learner driver ended his weekend slamming into the wall of a school gym. It happened on Unley Road at Hyde Park just before 7 last night. The 17-year-old and his 62-year-old passenger weren't hurt, but he'll be fined over the incident. MasterChef was back on our screens last night, but before the start of the new season, there was a special tribute to late host Jock Sonfrillo. Gordon Ramsay among those remembering the celebrity chef.
The ripples have been devastating. No one's going to get over this quickly. If there's one thing that we've done as chefs is we've united, and we're talking about the good times.
7 people have been killed and more than 10 injured after a car ploughed into pedestrians in front of a Texas migrant shelter. Alison Petrowski reports.
The moment of impact was captured on CCTV. A car speeds through a red light and careens into a line of people at a bus stop in the border town of Brownsville, Texas. The crash occurred in front of a homeless shelter, which for months has been housing an influx of migrants crossing into America from Mexico. Authorities are investigating whether the crash was an intentional act. The suspect has been charged with reckless driving. He is not cooperating with police and refusing to give his name.
8 people have been killed and 7 wounded after a gunman opened fire at an outlet mall, also in Texas. The shooter then shot and killed by police. Texas Governor Greg Abbott has told Fox News mental health is at the core of increased violence across the US.
People want a quick solution. The long-term solution here is to address the mental health issue.
Now turning to 5AA Sport.
It's nearly tax time. Act now for immediate delivery on Mitsubishi Triton from Agostino Mitsubishi, Nailsworth and Elizabeth.
Here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Mel. Let's start with a little bit of football first, and Port Adelaide's players will recover today following yesterday's heart-stopping 5-point win against Essendon. There are some concerns for the Power, including the fitness of skipper Tom Jonas. That's after he was subbed out with a chest injury, while Zach Butters will also be scanned. That's to do with a bit of a knee issue. He came off in the third quarter, returned to play, but still had some soreness post-match. And Junior Rioli faces a suspension by the match review officer following an incident which left Essendon defender Jordan Ridley concussed. Still on football, and Sydney coach John Longmire has hit out at Collingwood fans who booed superstar Lance Franklin at the MCG yesterday.
Why would you boo him? Probably celebrate a 36-year-old, wouldn't you, that's been a champion of the game. It's been 10 years since we played Collingwood here. Why would you be one of the champions of the game? Doesn't make sense to me.
The Magpies won the match by 29 points to remain on top of the AFL ladder, while there was one match to complete round 8, St Kilda getting it done by North Melbourne by 5 goals. Let's go to motorsport, and Max Verstappen has continued Red Bull's dominance with a commanding victory at the Miami Grand Prix this morning. Teammate Sergio Perez was second, Fernando Alonso was third, and Aussie Oscar Piastri finished way back in 19th place. American Wyndham Clark has broken through for his first PGA win after taking out the Wells Fargo Championship in North Carolina by 4 shots. The 29-year-old betting a star-studded field for his breakthrough victory.
This is the moment he's been dreaming of. And he's made his family proud.
Certainly did. Aussie Adam Scott finished 8 shots back in a tie for 5th. 2 games in the English Premier League overnight. Arsenal 2-0 winners against Newcastle, while West Ham upset Manchester United 1-0. And in the NBA playoffs, it has just been completed, the match between the Boston Celtics and Philadelphia 76ers. At least regulation has anyway. 107 apiece, meaning Game 4 will now go into overtime. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now checking 5AA traffic.
Worried about cheap insurance? Who offers great value cover you won't regret? Amy does. Before buying insurance issued by Amy, read the PDS and TMD at amy.com.au and consider whether it's right for you.
At Dry Creek, had a nasty smash on the Salisbury Highway. As you're approaching the Wingfield interchange, solid delays inbound and more selects another collision. This one's also on the Salisbury Highway and into the dramas. It's near Eldersmith Road, causing delays inbound as well. Busy right now, South Road, Edwardstown, got a lane out of action at Hilton. So Donald Rabbit Drive near Pearson Street, speeds at 25. And look out for camera this morning, Peacock Road in the city. Need extra cash? Schedule blocks of time that suit you. See exactly what you'll earn and deliver Amazon packages with Amazon Flex. Sign up at flex.amazon.com. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Now the 5AA weather.
See any issue firsthand with AutoCam. Real-time video, direct to you from your Automasters technician.
A shower or two and 16 degrees today. A shower or two tomorrow, 18. Partly cloudy Wednesday, also 18. Right now it's 8 degrees. More news as it happens on 5AA.
You know, there's a really simple way to be sure the ham you're buying is made from Australian pork. You just look for a pink box on your packs. That way, you'll know the pork comes fresh from our farms.
And not shipped in from overseas!
Yep, a pink box on your pack also means the ham has passed Australia's strict quality controls. So your ham will taste great. So for true Australian quality, just pick a pack with a pink pork logo. Thanks a lot.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head online to 5AA Facebook or search 5AA on YouTube. Breakfast on 5AA. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
Book a test drive of the incredible Cherry Motor 5 today. Visit gocherry.com.au.
22 minutes to 8. John Blake on the way before 8 o'clock. We have a $100 Tony and Mark's voucher to give away. We'll be doing that shortly. I suspect we're going to be pitting some suburbs against each other, or maybe not. Maybe it'll be an idea that's welcomed with open arms. We'll get to that in just a moment. Lucy's Movie Bowl after 8 o'clock. And then after 8:30, we're going to talk cost of living on the eve of the federal budget.
Well, way back in 1996, our next guest became the first Australian to take part in the space shuttle program. On board the Endeavour, and he is now the face and the brains behind the Andy Thomas Space Foundation. Andy Thomas, Dr. Andy Thomas, good morning, and thank you so much for joining us. It's a pleasure to talk to you again. I think we last spoke around the release of the movie about the Amazing Race. And talked about how you took some of the cloth from the Vickers Vimy aboard with you back in 1996 when you were orbiting the Earth.
Yes, that's right. I actually took the uniform wings of Ross and Keith Smith into space with me. I wonder what they would have made of that.
It was a great gesture, Andy. Now, we spoke to your CEO, Grace Portalacci, last week about the Space Forum that's coming up in Adelaide. Do you think we're at the point where people here in South Australia get how real a career in space now is?
I don't know if people do understand that fully, but the message is there loud and clear. The space sector in South Australia has been growing enormously. It's boosted the economy by over $160 million and employs over 1,600 full-time employees. It's seen an annual growth rate of over 60% since 2016. It's a booming industry, and South Australia is the nexus for space activities in Australia. I think it's highly significant, for example, that the head of NASA visited Australia just last month. He didn't go to Sydney, he didn't go to Melbourne or Brisbane, he came to Adelaide. And that's because Adelaide is the centre for all things space in Australia.
What's the opportunity for the space industry here in South Australia, Dr. Thomas, in terms of what's the next area of growth?
Well, going to be in defence-related activities. Space is a sector that's critically important to defence, just as submarines are important to defence. The recent Defence Strategic Review showed a paradigm shift in Australia's defence posture and what Australia must do to defend its interests in the future years. And it cannot do that without a vibrant space sector. In fact, if you're going to deploy nuclear submarines, as proposed under AUKUS, you actually have to have access to a lot of space sector technology. You have to have access to satellite technology. You have to have access to satellite information to upgrade your navigation state so you know where your submarines are. You have to have them for secure communications because they're operating well beyond the horizon line of sight. And you need satellite information to establish what threats exist around the vehicles that you deploy. So if you're going to deploy submarines, nuclear submarines, to defend Australian interests, you actually have to have a vibrant supporting space sector as well. They go hand in hand. And that's a message I think a lot of federal politicians don't fully appreciate. And I hope they do understand it. I guess we'll find out on Tuesday night when the budget is released.
Yeah, I think that's a really important point, as you say, Dr. Thomas, that whether the feds necessarily cotton on to how big a deal this is. When you look at it too, not just from the defence perspective, but from the business perspective, are we at a point now where space is becoming, this might sound like an odd word, but more affordable for people? Because I remember talking a couple of years ago to a guy called Lloyd Dam, who's originally from South Africa, but he's a rocket guy, and he's got this micro satellite business that's firing these tiny little satellites into orbit. And he was explaining to me how some of these satellites can be used by by farmers in the outback to monitor feed and water for livestock. And you sort of think the history of satellite technology is like these gigantic things that power Telstra, but it's becoming a lot more accessible for other businesses and industries, isn't it?
Yes, you said it right. There was a time in the past where satellites were big, multi-billion-dollar vehicles, huge undertakings on a national scale. But that's all changed. It's sometimes called Space 2.0 these days, where small satellites can be deployed, sort of off-the-shelf satellites, for specific interests. And if the satellite fails, which is often the case, you can just go to the shelf and get another one and deploy it. And the costs have come down remarkably, and it's booming massive cottage industry making these satellites. And Lloyd Dam's responsible for part of it, as is people at Fleet Aerospace who are making satellites in South Australia. In fact, South Australia is going to be launching its own satellite in the coming years. So I think satellite will look back on these years the way we look back on the early days of flight as a paradigm shift for the whole community when flight became something that everyone could do. And now satellites are going to be something that everyone can access.
Dr. Thomas, you mentioned energising our politicians when it comes to the synergies that exist between defence and the space industry. Do we need to energise our private sector as well? Because there is this commercialisation that David touched on a moment ago, we're seeing now with SpaceX and Amazon and others sort of entering that realm. Can you foresee in the near future Australia's space industry being part public and part private, or is it in the near term going to be an entirely taxpayer-funded venture, do you think?
Oh, it's already part private. The private corporations, the startups, the venture capital money is spending a lot of money on it. So it's an investment the government should make for the well-being of Australia. It serves the national interest, it serves strategic interests, defence security interests, as well as environmental interests. So the government should provide seed funding, but then hand it over to private interests to operate. And we're seeing that happen. There's no better example, of course, of SpaceX. More than 50% of the satellites in orbit today are SpaceX satellites, primarily the Starlink constellation.
Well, Dr. Thomas, it's been a pleasure chatting to you. And as we said, we spoke to Gracie Portalacci last week, and we actually gave away some tickets that you generously donated to the Space Forum for teachers and also for some for tertiary level students. So we thank you for that. But congratulations on all the pioneering work you've done, and as you say, it's nice to sort of see how it's starting to feel less pioneering and more commonplace. The idea of space as a job here for young people in South Australia.
Yes, it is. It is, and you can have people to think in South Australia for that. The Space Forum that's taking place on Tuesday started 7 or 8 years ago as a small meeting by a group of enthusiasts. It's now grown to a national meeting that has international prestige, and it generates a lot of interest. There'll be more than 1,000 participants probably. It's a big deal for South Australia. It's a big deal for Australia. And there'll be exhibit halls, and I hope the general public might get an opportunity to go by and see some of the exhibits as well.
Fantastic stuff. Dr. Andy Thomas, ahead of the Australian Space Forum, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
You can start to see the opportunity for the state, can't you, when you're talking about nuclear submarines, the most complicated build project in the country's history. Well, if you've got the expertise to do that here, well, it's not a far cry to say, well, where are the experts going to be to build the next generation of satellite and space technology? They're probably here. When the Defence Strategic Review says, we know what we need in Australia, we need a domestic rocket-making capability for making missiles. Okay, well, it's not a long walk then from, well, where do you make the rockets to go and send things into space? Like, all these things overlap in Adelaide's near mid-term sort of future. It's a pretty exciting time.
Get your kids in a STEM, folks.
Absolutely. Christopher in Craigmore's called in. Morning to you, Christopher.
Good morning, guys. How you going?
Good, thanks, mate.
Excellent. Hey, listen, just on the back of the conversation you just had with Dr. Andy Thomas, a good friend of mine from Adelaide, who used to live in Elizabeth, went to Findon High School, moved to the States and set up his own cottage business, I suppose you could call it, designing equipment for medical and so forth. But he entered a competition with a bunch of like-minded people that NASA do once every so many years called Honey, I Shrunk the Payload. And it's about getting the smallest payloads into space with the biggest bang for buck, I guess is the easiest way to put it. They won that competition with a design to measure radiation from the sun for a number of other reasons. But and their invention will actually get on a payload at some point in time, and they want a considerable amount of seed funding to go with that prize. But like he's Adelaide born and bred, worked at DSTO on radar, and you know we've got the people. We just need to bring them back.
Yeah, that's a good point.
You know,
It's a really good point. It's a great point, Christopher. Thank you for that. 8223 Amazing, he said too. SpaceX provides 50% of all the satellites in orbit around Earth right now. It's a private company. If you told someone in the 70s that 50 years from now it'll all be done by a private entity who'll be doing most of that work, it'd sound like something in Spacelix Sprockets. Like it was the stuff of fiction, film and cartoon. It's actually happening. 12 to 8, we won't do is just check traffic. We'll take a break, and we've got John Blake coming up for you in just a moment. For your chance to win a $4 million grand prize, visit homelottery.com.au.
Thanks, Will. Our Dry Creek got a smash on the Salisbury Highway as you're approaching the Wingfield interchange. Solid delays inbound at the moment. At Mawson Lakes, another collision. This one's also on the Salisbury Highway. It's near Aldersmith Road, causing delays as well. Busy right now, South Road at Edwardstown, and got a lane out of action at Highgate for works, Fullerton Road in the Crossroad intersection. Cameras, Walkerville Terrace, Gilberton, and South Terrace in the city. Uni Super is open for every Australian. At Uni Super, shape a retirement that won't cost the earth. Look forward, think great. Visit unisuper.com.au. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Sunrise has got you front row seats for the coronation celebration. The biggest superstars join royalty. Katy Perry, Lionel Richie, Andrea Bocelli and more. The coronation concert. Sunrise this morning on 7 and 7+.
Need a forklift? Don't just get a forklift, get a Toyota forklift. Toyota is the world's #1 forklift brand with a great range of pallet jacks, walkie stackers and reach forklifts right up to their leading Toyota counterbalance forklifts. Legendary reliability and safety with cleaner, greener electric options. Toyota can tailor the right forklift solution for you. It's all part of the Toyota Forklift Advantage. For more, visit toyotamaterialhandling.com.au.
Get a Toyota forklift.
Now I always find this staggering, Will, this revelation, but apparently by urban bathrooms and kitchens, they're not everybody's cup of tea.
Well, everyone's different. Some people are really different. For example, some people aren't fussed by sticky drawers.
Some people like rubbish.
They like garbage. People like things that look terrible. Or if you want to invite people over and have an embarrassing kitchen. Well, guess what? Then maybe by urban bathrooms and kitchens is not for you.
That's right. But if those things are important and you want to live with a kitchen and bathroom you'll adore for many years to come, then you've got to speak to Coxie and the incredible team at By Urban Bathrooms and Kitchens.
And remember, it's not just about the amazing result. It's how you get there that really sets By Urban Bathrooms and Kitchens apart from everyone else. Byurban.com.au, Adelaide's home renovation experts.
Speak with One Solution and they'll tell you cybercrime is not a big business problem, a government problem, or a small enterprise problem. It's everyone's problem. Ransomware, malware, and adware remain the #1 threat. One call to One Solution will put your business in a safe place. It's the smartest, most cost-effective business decision you'll ever make. Get in touch with One Solution, winner of the National Telstra Customer Experience Award. onesolution.net.au.
Car, bus or truck window smashed, cracked, scratched or chipped? Call Complete Windscreens. For over 40 years, this family-owned SA company have given motorists a clear view of the road ahead with their 24-hour windscreen repair and replacement service. No one does it better than Hayden and Lindsay Dean at Complete Windscreens, which is the very reason you should tell your insurer you want Complete Windscreens on the job. You deserve the best, most reliable and cheapest. CompleteWindscreen.com.au.
If you need to fix your pipes, call Precise. Call Precise. If your toilet's boiling up, call Precise. Call Precise. If your lights aren't turning on, or your hot water is gone, or a plumber or an electrician, call Precise. Precise.
Precise Plumbing and Electrical. Call 1300 700 200. That's 1300 700 200. Precise Plumbing and Electrical. On time, on budget, on the job.
Or a plumber or an electrician, call Precise. Call Precise.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head online to 5AA Facebook or search 5AA on YouTube. Breakfast on 5AA, David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
Test drive the Cherry Emoda 5 at Cherry Glen Osmond from 33k drive away with immediate delivery. Go Cherry.
7 minutes to 8. John Blake coming up in just a moment. We have a $100 Tony and Mark's voucher to give away. Expect more at Tony and Mark's. Quality that tastes better, lasts longer, but doesn't cost you more. $100 to go a long way and buy you some incredible produce. And this is one that everyone can be involved in. You can call in on 822 3000. You can text us on the Dutton's text line, or indeed, if you're watching on the Foodland Supermarkets Facebook or YouTube live stream, you can participate in this conversation as well. Given we have Elizabeth in honour of the late Queen.
She visited it when it was being inaugurated.
Exactly right. She was there from the beginning. We want you to imagine a scenario whereby, as a good member of the Commonwealth, we're told we now need to find a suburb that's going to be named after Charles. I don't know what it'd be called. Charlesworth, Charlesville, Charlestown?
Yeah, Charlestown.
Any of those you like?
Well, I just did a quick search. There's a Charlestown in Newcastle, New South Wales.
Okay.
A suburb of Newcastle. But there's no Charlestowns as far as I can tell in South Australia.
One of our suburbs needs to be renamed Charlestown, and it's going to be determined by a consensus. Tell us which suburb you think should be renamed to be named after Charles. It could be yours, it could be someone else's. So there are no wrong answers here. Tell us the suburb and make the case. 8223 0000. Text us on the Dutton's text line or Foodland Supermarkets Facebook and YouTube live stream. We have to name one of the suburbs after the king. Which suburb becomes Charlestown?
I reckon it should be a suburb that could do with a bit of a reputational lift.
Oh, so, okay, like a school that's
Davern Park
had a rough go.
Davern Park
becomes Charlestown.
Charlestown.
I don't mind that.
What do you think?
Chad and Henley Beach. Good morning.
G'day, gents. How you going?
Good, thanks, Chad.
Oh, you just stole my limelight because I was going to go with Sir Davern, but sounds like my idea's already been taken.
No,
Chad,
that's all right,
sorry,
Chad.
mate.
No, we'll call it. It's Chad. It's your idea. You own it.
It's your idea, Chad.
Davern Park is now Charlestown. Chad, you're in the running to win the Tony and Mark's voucher. Lockie in Kapunda, good morning.
G'day, guys. Unfortunately, Queensland's beat us to it. That's the town in outback Queensland, Charleville. So,
of course.
They've beaten us to it.
Yeah, they have. Well, that doesn't matter. That's fine.
We can have two.
We can have two. Maybe the edict from on high is that every major city needs one.
Yeah.
Or every state needs
Every
one.
war, every former colony.
Yeah. Anyway, for the
Established 1836.
for the purpose of some mirth, let's just go with it, shall we?
Should we name one after Camilla as well?
Well, look, yeah.
Why not?
I don't know what there's no precedent for that one.
Charles Miranda's got a good piece in the paper today. Apparently she's got a morbid fear of flying, and apparently it's going to stop them from coming to Australia, potentially. Like, she's that bad.
I read that. Kay in Mount Barker, what should be called Charlestown?
Well, in the Adelaide Hills, we've got Charleston. You only have to add one letter. I mean,
That's a good point, Kay.
Adelaide Hills.
That's a good
Charleston,
point.
of course.
Yeah, that would be the minimal amount of disruption. Dave in
Just need a
Alberton,
W.
what say you?
Well, can we change Windy Point to Wingnut Point?
It's a fitting tribute. Thank you, Dave.
We could, inspired by the big lobster and the big orange, we could get some big ears up there too.
Maddie in Manapara, good morning.
Morning. I don't know how I'm going to follow that. I was just thinking, how about Charles Windsor Gardens?
Yes. Maddie.
That is clever.
Oh, no, you've done all right there, Maddie. Oh, that's good.
Charles Windsor Gardens.
It's always good when everyone, I look around in the producer's booth and everyone reacts well, and they did to that, Maddie. That's good. Let's go to John Blake. Shall we keep the suggestions coming?
Yeah, we'll keep them
okay.
coming.
We won't give
We'll
away
keep
the
them
Tony
coming.
and Marks yet because there's a lot of great suggestions coming through. Which suburb should be renamed in honour of the King? Let us know. 8223 $100 Tony and Marks voucher on the line. Time for John Blake. Thanks to Aussie Fast Transport Solutions, interstate freight distribution, warehousing, and local Adelaide couriers. Call Aussie Fast 13 13 64.
Now, the latest news with Wallace Fogg.
Good morning, early risers. This is Wallace Fogg with another 5AA news update. Sensation over the weekend with articles in newspapers showing incredible images of stunning similarities between young Prince Louis, son of William and Kate, and young King Charles when he was the same age. Prince Louis could be seen on the balcony of Buckingham Palace standing next to his parents pointing to the sky as the flypast of military aircraft was occurring. Eagle-eyed reporters have discovered images of Charles as a young boy doing exactly the same thing. And in stunning coincidences, people from all over the globe have said that their 4-year-old children also point at the sky when planes go over. And that's most certainly newsworthy. Equally sensational photos have emerged of Princess Charlotte waving to the crowd, which is precisely what Princess Anne did when she was a young girl. Royal watchers have said you can't deny there's something about that royal family when their children behave in a completely normal fashion. In other news, disgraced former champion international cyclist Lance Armstrong has arrived in Coober Pedy as it was announced he's one of the contestants in the new US reality show Stars on Mars. This is the first time Lance Armstrong has been in South Australia since Mike Rann used our money to bring him here for the Tour Down Under, or as Mike used to say, the Tour Down, probably because it rhymes with Chateau Tanunda. Lance Armstrong being here is seen as an opportunity for 5AA broadcaster Graham Corns to get him on as a guest for Conversations with Cornsey. Not because he'd make an interesting guest, but because it would give Cornsey a chance to redeem himself by this time pressing the record button. And finally, the Crows' loss to Geelong on the weekend has prompted footy pundits to question the team's goal-kicking ability after they were accused again of crooked kicking. Crows coach Matthew Nick said after the game, "That's garbage. The boys kicked perfectly straight, just in the wrong direction." And that's the news for this Monday. I'm Wallace Fogg. More 5AA news coming up at 8 o'clock, or as close as we can get.
Welcome, John Blake. After 8:30, when we go behind closed doors, there are some cracking suggestions for renaming a suburb in honour of the King coming through. We'll get to some more of those and breaking at 8 right after 5AA News.
G'day, it's Eddie May here from NRG Solar. People buy a solar system to save money and do the right thing by the environment. So why would you buy a battery? Well, people buy a battery because they want independence from the grid. They don't want to be inconvenienced in the event of a blackout and, of course, protect themselves from future power rises. Now, electricity is going up, so whatever your needs are regarding solar and battery storage, you can rely on NRG Solar for the right solution. Visit nrgsolar.com.au.
It's a frightening thought, but what if you lost the capacity to manage your financial affairs? If you're not at the helm, who makes medical or health decisions? Who controls the family trust? From the simplest to the most complex wills and estate plans, Donlan Lawyers will answer your questions and help carry out your wishes. For wills and estate planning, visit donlanlawyers.com. That's donlanlawyers.com. Hindmarsh Square, Adelaide, and Ocean Street, Victor Harbour.
9 News is made in Adelaide for Adelaide.
And has been since 1959.
I'm Kate Collins.
And I'm Brenton Raglas. Join us for 9 News tonight at 6.
Online, on DAB Digital Radio, and on 1395 AM. Talking Adelaide. This is Adelaide's 5AA.
A shower or two and 16 today with the 8 o'clock news. I'm Mel Usher.
Physio Extra has Mother's Day sorted. 5 Pilates classes plus socks, all for $120. PhysioExtra.com.
The coronation celebrations have wrapped up with a concert outside Windsor Castle. The newly crowned King and Queen, joined by the Prince and Princess of Wales, Prince George and Princess Charlotte, along with other members of the royal family. William taking to the stage, paying tribute to the new monarch and what the coronation means going forward.
At the heart of the pageantry is a simple message: service. My father's first words on entering Westminster Abbey were a pledge of service. It was a pledge to continue to serve, because for over 50 years, in every corner of the UK, across the Commonwealth and around the world, he has dedicated himself to serve others.
There was a pre-recorded flyby by Tom Cruise. Performers at the concert included Take That, Katy Perry and Andrea Bocelli. The federal opposition says spending almost $15 billion on cost of living measures won't help the economy. The government will announce a raft of measures to help people deal with high prices, including an energy rebate of up to $500. But Shadow Finance Minister Jane Hume says Labor should rein in its own spending to tackle soaring inflation.
Unless they reduce inflation, well, any cost of living measure, any handout, any increase to welfare will simply be gobbled up. It'll be eroded by high inflation.
Tomorrow's budget is expected to show a surplus for this financial year, mainly driven by income tax receipts and higher export revenue. The gym at Walford is looking a little worse for wear. Senior Constable Rhett Davis says a learner driver is to blame.
Emergency services were called to a school on Unley Road, Hyde Park, about 6:45pm last night after a car left the road and crashed through the wall of the gym.
The 17-year-old behind the wheel and his 62-year-old passenger weren't hurt, but he will be fined over the incident. A funeral service will be held today for jockey Dean Holland, who was killed in a race fall late last month. Gail Watson reports from Melbourne.
Dean Holland, a popular jockey and father of 4 young children, died from injuries sustained in a fall at Donald in country Victoria on April 24. The funeral is being held this afternoon at Flemington Racecourse. Melbourne Racing Club has confirmed the Mornington meeting planned for today has been abandoned to allow the industry to gather and celebrate Dean's life. A GoFundMe campaign for the jockey's family has so far raised more than $1.7 million.
There'll also be a service at Morfettville. Women are being urged to know their genetic risk this World Ovarian Cancer Day. Organisation Pink Hope says 1 in 7 women with the disease have inherited a mutated gene. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
It's nearly tax time. Act now for immediate delivery on Mitsubishi Triton from Agostino Mitsubishi, Nailsworth and Elizabeth.
Here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Mel. Footy first, and Port Adelaide will be hoping for positive news on skipper Tom Jonas following a chest injury during yesterday's 5-point win against Essendon. He was subbed out, while midfielder Zach Butters will also have scans on a sore knee. And forward Junior Rioli is likely to face a suspension for a high hit on Essendon's Jordan Ridley. Well, Aussie manager Ange Postecoglou is celebrating after his side Celtic wrapped up the Scottish League title following a 2-0 win against Hearts this morning. Celtic is now 13 points clear with 4 games left. The result wrapped up with 2 second-half goals, one involving Socceroo Aaron Moy.
Moy on earlier, and it's put away by Celtic are heading for another title. It was always going to
Great result. Meantime, in the English Premier League, Arsenal has kept its faint title hopes alive after a gutsy 2-0 away win against Newcastle, while Manchester United's stutters continue after going down 1-0 against West Ham. A brilliant drive from Max Verstappen has seen him win the Miami Grand Prix ahead of teammate Sergio Perez this morning.
Max Verstappen wins the Miami Grand Prix with a masterclass of performance. 9th on the grid to the top step of the podium.
FIVEAA it's the fourth 1-2 finish for Red Bull in 5 races. Fernando Alonso was third, while Aussie Oscar Piastri was 19th. And the Philadelphia 76ers have won a stunning Game 4 against the Boston Celtics, 116-115 in overtime to square their best-of-7 series at 2 games apiece. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now checking 5AA traffic.
Worried about cheap insurance? Who offers great value cover you won't regret? Amy does. Before buying insurance issued by Amy, read the PDS and TMD at amy.com.au and consider whether it's right for you.
At Dry Creek, got a collision causing heavy delays on the Salisbury Highway as you're approaching the Wingfield interchange. Also, Mawson Lakes, another collision on the Salisbury Highway. That's adding to the dramas this morning. This one's near Eldersmith Road. Avoid that if you can today. Busy right now, Kings Road at Salisbury Downs, also South Road at Edwardstown, with cameras Bevington Road, Glenunga, and Nottage Terrace at Medinty. The GWM Haval H6 and Haval Jolina smart SUVs now available with hybrid technology. Search GWM Haval to find out more. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Now the 5AA forecast.
See any issue firsthand with AutoCam. Real-time video, direct to you from your Automaster's technician.
A shower or two today, heading for a top of 16. A shower or two tomorrow, 18. Then partly cloudy Wednesday, also 18 degrees. Right now it's 9. We'll have more news as it happens on 5AA.
Don't just send it, ace it.
It's not just your deliveries that AC Couriers look after. They're also proud supporters of the community. Chris, tell us more.
That's right, Rowie. At ASIC Couriers, we're proud supporters of over 16 sporting clubs. We also work with and support the Breakthrough Mental Health Research Foundation to strive for a happy and positive workplace. By supporting us, you're also supporting the community.
Don't just send it, ace it.
Now, some people might think the best thing about winter is a hot chocolate or an open fire. Well, the best thing about this coming winter is Bob Burns Blinds Winter Warmer, where you'll get up to 40% off.
That's up to 40% off their entire range of curtains and blinds, including energy-efficient window coverings. And remember, with Bob Burns Blinds, you'll get that quality show-home look. Plus, you'll save on energy bills by trapping the heat in your home.
Bob Burns Blinds are South Australian too, with nearly everything manufactured right here in Adelaide from quality materials.
Absolutely sensational business, local business, family business. Get set for winter now with the Bob Burns Blinds Winter Warmer. Get up to 40% off their entire range of curtains and blinds, including energy-efficient window coverings. Book your free measure and quote at bobburnsblinds.com.au.
Some builders think a sloping block has limitations. When Beechwood Homes look at a sloping block, they think, the possibilities. Beechwood Homes know how to make the most of a sloping block. In fact, they specialise in them. Beechwood will design a home that works with the land you have, taking full advantage of every square metre. So if you're looking at a sloping block, go for it. Beechwood has your back. Life's good. It's even better in a Beechwood home. Google Beechwood Adelaide.
Breakfast on 5AA. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
Book a test drive of the incredible Cherry Motor
9 minutes after 8, lots of terrific suggestions coming through. Tony and Mark's $100 voucher on the line for someone who can tell us which suburb should be renamed in honour of King Charles. We've got Elizabeth for the late Queen, so we're imagining that we've been told. There's no choice in the matter. There's no debate. There's no argument. You've got to pick one of them. 82230000 is the number. Best suggestion gets the Tony and Mark's voucher. You can text us as well on the Duttons text line. There's a few of those coming through. We should read a couple of Duttons texts.
Yes, somebody wants to know, will the Princess Highway be renamed the King's Highway? Here's an idea. Scott says Hyde Park is upper class, sophisticated, so that could be renamed Charles Park. Another one here going along affluence lines. Burnside should be renamed Charlesburg, very apt name for a cheesy suburb. And Basil in Malvern thinks that Peterhead should become Charleshead. And someone points out, given that we have a Queenstown down Port Adelaide, we should have a Kingstown as well.
That would work
Like
too.
Jamaica.
I
I'll
like-
get some jerk chicken going while we're at it.
I like
jerk chicken.
Jerk chicken's excellent. I like Ben's suggestion that's also excellent. Change North Adelaide. They like change. Thank you.
They love it.
They love change.
Yeah.
They're always flipping things up.
Yeah, I was saying, couldn't we put a big building up somewhere? Or
Keeping you guessing, yeah.
maybe we should change the 2-hour parking rule so that people who like footy can park in the back streets.
Wouldn't that be a riot?
Make it a 5-hour limit instead of 2. Good idea.
We'll get to some of your calls in just a moment on that front, and more of your texts as well.
Maybe we could put the nuclear waste disposal facility in Wellington Square.
I think, you know what I like about them? They'd
Gotta
be
go
up
somewhere.
They might not want it, but they'd be up for the chat.
Yeah, they would.
You know,
They would.
they'd be up for the conversation.
exactly.
Let's have level heads. Let's be really mature about this. Thanks to Dutton's brand new Ram dealership in Murray Bridge. Ram, eat utes for breakfast.
Tell you what, you wouldn't want to be getting around to Ram Ute if you come across the Extinction Rebellion people next week. They're going to be up and about. Who knows? You might have to avert your eyes, folks. We might get a bit more boob flashing action, a la the Wollonga ladies who disrupted the tour down under. Got a statement overnight from our good friends at Extinction Rebellion who are promising all sorts of mayhem next week. The occasion being the Australian Petroleum Production and Exploration Association Conference happening at the Adelaide Convention Centre from May 15 to 18. Extinction Rebellion have put out a statement overnight saying they're going to be targeting it all week. A diverse range of actions, including, don't miss this one, theatre protest performance on Tuesday, May 16. Then they're going to have a mock climate criminal award ceremony the next day. And then there's going to be some sort of mass community rally on the Thursday. But as we've seen in the past with Extinction Rebellion, it's the unscripted stuff that is often the source of anger, you know. When you're trying to get from A to B, drop your kids off at childcare, get to work on time, finding someone glued to the road.
So these are the petroleum people they're protesting, is it?
Yeah.
The petroleum people who are just about to underwrite the budget by way of the new petroleum rent tax.
That's them.
Yeah, okay.
Ones who are keeping the economy going.
Right, good.
The statement that they have issued says, May marks the 1-year anniversary of the SA government declaring a climate emergency, yet they continue to collude with and enable climate criminals, welcoming them to our state for their conferences and supporting new fossil fuel exploration and development. Enough hollow climate commitments. It's time to walk the talk. No more gas, no more oil, no social consent for climate criminals. There you go. Brace yourselves, folks, particularly if you're driving along North Terrace next week.
$2.4 billion they're adding to these climate criminals are adding to the budget this year.
Yeah, well,
offsetting things like cost of living concessions that the federal government's set to announce.
Helping to jack up job seeker for poor people and so forth.
Yeah. If only all our criminals were so... I mean, if all our criminals paid their tax, we might be in a better state. 13 after 8, 8223 is our number. There are texts coming through still, and we haven't yet awarded the Tony and Mark's $100 gift voucher as we try to determine which Adelaide suburb should be renamed in honour of Charles. Heather, good morning.
Yes, hello. Yes, why not Bolivar? You don't need an explanation, really, but I often think of Bolivar when I'm on the throne. I thought that would be a really good thing.
The royal flush.
Oh, dearie me.
That is terrific,
Heather. This is going to take some awarding, this prize. I tell you, you know what I think we should do, because there've been so many great calls.
2 prizes.
We've also got a Barbecue Adelaide Weber Store voucher to give away. For everything Barbie, head to Barbecue Adelaide Weber Stores, Jeps Cross and Mile End, and prepare to get lit. Let's give someone a Barbecue Adelaide Weber Store and someone a Tony and Mark's $100 gift voucher.
Look, I think I like Heather. Heather, the late money. We'll give Heather the Tony and Mark's voucher. And look, Dave from Alberton, mate, seriously, you got to take a bow. Wingnut Point, you get the barbecue voucher. That was superb. Honourable mentions for Kay, pointing out we already have a Charleston in the hills. Lockie in Kapunda, Chad, Maddie with Charles Windsor Gardens.
Honourable mention, Maddie. I thought that was close.
That was an excellent
On any other
one.
day, Maddie wins something.
If Maddie doesn't have a 5AA Brekkie mug, we'll give him one of them.
Yeah.
But Bolivar being on the throne and Wingnut Point. Seriously, Wingnut Point, terrific. thanks to everybody who entered. And excitingly, the Governor of South Australia, Her Excellency Frances Adamson, is going to be coming on the show.
Fantastic. Well,
exclusively.
The only South Australian that was at the coronation ceremony and was just at the concert among the just 20,000 people that got to go to the concert as well. So no one better placed to give us a review than Her Excellency.
They've missed a bit of a trick with Nick, given that Nick Cave's been there. They could have got him up after Lionel Richie to maybe sing, Release the Bats or Nick the Stripper. A few of the old birthday party classics.
I read his blog post about the criticism he copped, and it was sensational.
How well written is that?
It is superb. For people who missed it,
you haven't seen it, just do a quick Google search, Nick Cave coronation, and we could almost read it out at some point, couldn't we? It's a bit long, but
yeah, you could read
I'll dig it out.
You could read out bits of it, but it's an excellent explanation of how an old school rocker that was against the raging against the machine, so to speak, found himself at the coronation. The very epitome of the establishment. We might read out a little bit of that for you because it was just terrific. 16 after 8. We'll check traffic and come back with more in just a moment. For your chance to win a $4 million grand prize, visit homelottery.com.au.
Thanks, Will. At Mawson Lakes, a smash on the Salisbury Highway near Eldersmith Road is causing heavy delays inbound. Dry Creek, residual delays from an earlier smash on the Salisbury Highway, still causing headaches and delays as you're approaching the Wingfield interchange. Slow at the moment, South Road at Edwardstown, works at Theberton, Port Road near Phillip Street with a camera, Walkerville Terrace at Gilberton. Nothing beats the feeling of sliding into fresh new sheets from Big W, especially when they're cotton rich. Indulge a little with Big W's affordable range of bedding from Open Nook. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Rowie and Timmy G on the 5AA Sports Show.
Broadcasting live from Coopers Stadium, the big game tonight, Adelaide United v Wellington Phoenix. We've got the CEO, Nathan Cosmina.
On the back of what has been a really successful season, we don't want to end it. The benchmark for us for a while has been the semi-final, if not the grand final. So we wouldn't do the season justice if we didn't win tonight.
Rowie and Timmy G.
We can take some of that momentum back into Central Coast and take that next step, hopefully.
4 p.m. weekdays on 5AA.
Hi, Katie Bridges here, Market Lead at 5AA. The Vinnie's CEO Sleepout is back, June 22nd at the home of tennis in SA, The Drive. 2023 will mark my third time sleeping out. I keep coming back to the Vinnie's CEO Sleepout because everyone deserves a safe place to call home, and I know the funds we raise are in good hands with Vinnie's. If you're a business or community leader who cares about our community like I do, don't drop the ball. Sign up now at ceosleepout.org.au.
G'day, it's Eddie May from NRG Solar. More and more South Australians are taking control of their energy bills with solar and battery storage. In fact, Australians are taking up battery storage in record numbers because they're sick of rising power bills and being locked into a system where someone else calls the shots. The other huge bonus of going with NRG Solar and battery storage is that you'll be protected from blackouts with an uninterrupted power supply. Take control. Visit nrgsolar.com.au.
If you love your home, but you've never been in love with your kitchen, well, the answer is not far away.
No, it's just 15 minutes up the freeway, in fact, because that's where you'll find Balhanna Kitchens by Design. It boasts the largest kitchen design showroom in the Adelaide Hills, and everything's manufactured there too, so you're not going to be waiting months and months for everything to be shipped in.
Balhanna Kitchens by Design will organise all the sub-trades too, so you'll be dealing with one project manager and one fixed price.
Balhanna Kitchens by Design, it's not too far to go to make your dream kitchen a reality. See more at balhannakitchens.com.au.
If you need to fix your pipes, call Precise. Call Precise. If your toilet's blocking up, call Precise. Call Precise. If your lights aren't turning on, or your hot water is gone, or a plumber or an electrician, call Precise. Precise.
Precise Plumbing and Electrical. Call 1300 700 200. That's 1300 700 200. For fixed price services, call Precise.
For a plumber or an electrician, call Precise. Call Precise.
Speak with One Solution and they'll tell you cybercrime is not a big business problem, a government problem, or a small enterprise problem. It's everyone's problem. Ransomware, malware, and adware remain the #1 threat. One call to One Solution will put your business in a safe place. It's the smartest, most cost-effective business decision you'll ever make. Get in touch with One Solution, winner of the National Telstra Customer Experience Award. onesolution.net.au.
I can't believe I'm saying this. Buy urban bathrooms and kitchens may not be for everyone. Oh, look, if you're happy with a flat-pack kitchen, things not lining up and not looking like you thought it might, that's okay. And if millimetre-perfect craftsmanship and service of the highest standard is not your thing, that's okay too. But if it is, buyurban.com.au, Adelaide's home renovation experts.
9 News is made in Adelaide for Adelaide.
And has been since 1959.
I'm Kate Collins.
And I'm Brenton Raglas. Join us for 9 News tonight at 6.
Breakfast on 5AA. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
Test drive the Cherry Emoda 5 at Cherry Glen Osmond from 33k drive away with immediate delivery. Go Cherry.
21 minutes after 8, coming up after 8:30 this morning. Some exciting news. Lucy just got off the phone with the Governor of South Australia, Frances Adamson, who will join us before 9 o'clock. Now, she's the only South Australian that was at the coronation ceremony and indeed is on her way home. We'll be speaking to her when she's on her way home from having been to the concert that's just wrapped up as well. So really looking forward to that next half hour of the program. The other thing we're going to do, eve of the federal budget, is talk cost of living. Cost of living relief, we're being told, is on the way to the tune of some nearly $15 billion, $14.6 billion worth of cost of living relief is on the way. It's a conversation we'd love you to be a part of as well. 8223 Where do you need it? Do you like what you're hearing in terms of what's on the way? You can text us on the Duttons text line also, 04808 1395.
This is the best line from Nick Cave's brief blog post, which I would urge everyone to Google and read. As for what the young Nick Cave would have thought, well, the young Nick Cave was, in all due respect to the young Nick Cave, young. And like many young people, mostly demented. So I'm a little cautious around using him as a benchmark for what I should or should not do. He was cute, though. I'll give him that. Deranged but cute.
It's a superb bit of writing.
It is. It's great. Best thing I've read in a week.
Movies are better at Wallace Cinemas, SA's home of big screen magic and entertainment. Visit wallace.com.au. I'd love to hear from a listener who went to Wallace Cinema and watched the coronation on the weekend. That would have been absolutely superb, I think, if you were into that kind of thing, unless, of course, they had it on the ABC. 8223 is the number. We'll need you to have that number plugged in your phone too to vote for the movie that Lucy's going to review. Morning to you, Luce.
Good morning. Just quickly, someone who didn't go to Windsor, the castle at Windsor, was Anthony Albanese. He's already back in Australia, speaking live right now over in Perth. It is daybreak in Perth at the moment, so Albo must have been on the plane. He went to the Westminster Abbey and he's back in Oz already.
He's a bit too indie rock to be out there at the Lionel Richie concert, isn't he? I mean,
he might be a big Katy Perry fan.
If the Pixies were playing, he would have probably tried to do a bit of DJing. He probably only DJs.
Let's not bring that into the fold.
He doesn't like DJing for riffraff. He demonstrated that at Cole Sandiland's wedding, didn't he?
But going from being the regular DJ guy, Cole Sandiland's wedding, every single advisor around it have said, we don't want you to be seen within bull's roar of this concert.
Yeah.
Your partying days are done. There's a federal budget on the way tomorrow. How did the governor sound when you spoke with her?
It was only over text message, sorry.
Okay. You didn't suggest she's dusty?
It's late there, and they've got to travel from Windsor back to London, which would take like at least an hour, so we'll find out.
Okay, all right, excellent. Now we've got the envelope here.
Stop laughing, guys.
I him suggesting that the governor might have tied one on.
Oh, it's a
not
concert.
Very vice-regal.
It's been a celebration. Whatever the governor does is entirely up to her. Okay, now.
That's what that governor in Tasmania used to do until they got rid of him.
The movie, absolutely. The movie is the category this morning is It's Tom Time. Tom Time. It's a battle of the Tom Cruise films. The Tom Cruise films.
Please tell me Cocktail's not one of them.
Cocktail's not one of them. Actually, before I get to them, Luce, how many Tom Cruise films do you think you've seen?
Oh, minimal.
Okay.
As in, like,
what's the minimal?
Can you
amount
name
of Tom
one
Cruise film
that you've seen that has Tom Cruise?
Oh,
in
it'd be one or less. One or
Risky
fewer.
Business. Have you seen that?
No.
That's the best one.
That's not on here. Few Good Men is one of my favourites. It's not on here either.
You know the line, you can't handle the truth, Luce?
Yeah, is that Few Good Men?
Yeah.
Was it Risky Business?
No, it's a Few Good Men. It's certainly not Risky Business.
No, that's got that other line. Sometimes you just got to say...
Just name the films, please, Will.
Top Gun.
I want to know what I'm watching.
Top Gun or Rain Man?
So,
Top Gun or Rain Man?
Hey, do we have that Tom Cruise audio about the flyover earlier there somewhere?
Oh, yeah, here he is. This is him wishing King Charles.
That's pretty good timing.
Well,
for the
you
movie,
will
Bob.
understand if Top Gun gets voted in by audience right now on 8223 you'll understand the reference about you can be my wingman anytime.
Yes.
Top Gun 1 v Rain Man. Top Gun, one of the sort of classic 80s movies that of the action genre. Rain Man, of course, Dustin Hoffman, and that gave us the famous line about Qantas that everyone always repeats.
I'd like to give an embarrassing story here about Top Gun. I have seen the first 5 minutes of Top Gun 3 times. And I have fallen asleep for the rest of the movie. The 3 times that I watched the first 5
Isn't it
minutes,
really
then
loud,
I fell
the first
asleep.
5 minutes of the original Top Gun? They're flying around.
Luce could sleep through anything.
I can sleep at my desk in the chair if I have to. Like, not an issue.
Battle of the Toms. Get your votes coming in now. What should Luce review? Top Gun 1 or Rain Man? 8223 0000 is the number. We've got a couple of minutes to tally the votes. Paul in Evanston Park, good morning.
Good morning, guys. Good morning, Luce. Rain Man, only because Dustin Hoffman saves it. I mean, Tom Cruise, I'm with Lucy. Like, give me 5 minutes of Tom Cruise, and that's better than any Mogadon.
Thank you, Paul.
It's interesting
that.
we talk about Rain Man and the Battle of the Toms because it is considered an iconic Dustin Hoffman performance, albeit one I suspect they wouldn't make in 2023. 8223 0000. So that's one vote for Rain Man. Kay in Mount Barker, what's your vote?
Rain Man. Down, Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
No thanks.
Good on you, Kay.
But I'll tell you what, Tom Times turned out to be a pretty savage take on
We don't like Tom Time.
Tom Cruise career.
I think Tom Cruise is a good actor. I think he's a perfectly fine actor.
Perfectly fine? Is that something you want to be described as?
Well, he's not the greatest actor of
No, I
all
don't think he's
time,
not a great
but
actor.
he gets the job done.
He's not a great actor, but he's a great movie star.
Although, the cameo he plays in Tropic Thunder makes me think maybe he is a great actor.
Maybe some untapped comic
Les
potential.
Grossman.
Barry, good morning.
Good morning, boys. The wife and I both say Rain Man. Brilliant movie.
Yeah.
Rain Man is popular on the calls.
I really like that film.
Top Gun, popular on the text line, interestingly.
Hey, if you Google a photo of Tom Cruise, you'll note that his front 2 teeth are very far off symmetrical. Like, if you draw a line down the middle of someone's face, usually their front 2 teeth, like, kind of line up. His is very, very not symmetrical.
But isn't there a theory that
that'll ruin
non-symmetry
looking at
is what makes people attractive?
Totally. I mean, but it's just something you can't see. You know how some people have a gap between the 2 front teeth? Like, his 2 front teeth are way off centre. Like, it's quite remarkable when you see that image.
Well,
You won't unsee
I
it.
just hope that Tom never gets a recording of the last 3 minutes. Because from him being boring to his teeth not lining up, it's been a pretty savage
I've been sticking up for him a bit.
Yeah, I think you have been.
Yeah, Risky Business is a great
you know what?
film.
I think we're not. The likelihood that we're going to get 4 consecutive
We're
votes
not.
from here
We're
for
not.
Top Gun
Stop the
is
fight.
not going to
Rain
happen.
Man.
Yeah.
So Rain Man is the film that you'll be reviewing
Rain Man.
tomorrow morning for
I
Tom Time.
didn't see that coming.
No.
But good news, I'll be able to watch Top Gun and fall asleep again.
Get your tissues ready. It's pretty sad, I reckon, Rain Man. I find it really moving.
All right.
What's the problem with it these days? I guess the argument is that people living with disabilities should play those characters.
That's which I think you play that out logically, and it's totally ridiculous.
Does that mean that, like, you know, if you're going
But yeah, that would be what people would say.
appear in a medieval film, you should actually get real knights to play the knights?
Yes, you should have landed gentry.
Yeah. Sort of, isn't that what acting's about, pretending
Well,
to
it
be
was,
something
but
that
now
you're not?
apparently it's not. It's hard to
Yeah.
keep up.
Having said that, though, like the guy with cerebral palsy in Breaking Bad, I think it's excellent seeing people with disabilities in film.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah,
but it's more the hard and fast rule brigade that's the problem.
Oh,
these days,
that's
isn't it?
exactly right. 29 minutes after 8.
You've decided to build? It's exciting stuff. When you've found land, it's a good idea to get advice on what you can build on your new parcel of paradise. Get Steve from Beechwood Homes to take a look. There's no obligation, and you'll get a great understanding of what's possible. Sloping block, flat block, weird shaped block, or block on a cliff. Speak with Steve from Beechwood Homes for all the possibilities. Life's good. It's even better in a Beechwood home. Google Beechwood Adelaide.
What's the best thing about winter? Definitely the Bob Burns Blinds Winter Warmer Special. Get super cozy with up to 40% off. That's up to 40% off our entire range of curtains and blinds, including our energy-efficient window coverings. With Bob Burns Blinds, you'll get that quality show home look, and you'll save money on energy bills by trapping the heat in your home. Get set for winter now with a Bob Burns Blinds Winter Warmer Special. Book your free measure and quote at bobburnsblinds.com.au.
If the cost of living is stopping you from buying a new car, well, the new Cherry Motor 5 from Cherry Glen Osmond changes everything. From just 33,000 drive away, you'll be sitting behind the wheel of the most well-equipped and tech-savvy car in its class. It looks $1 million, but it won't cost you anywhere near that. The other thing is it's available for immediate delivery. That's right. You don't have to wait 6, 12, 18 months, counting down the days. You'll have one as soon as you buy it. The Cherry Motor 5 drives beautifully. It includes features like voice-activated control, customisable coloured interior lighting, 360-degree camera, parking sensors, CarPlay, 7-year warranty, 5-star safety, and fixed-price servicing. Now, you get all that from 33k drive away with immediate delivery. You've just got to book yourself a test drive of this incredible vehicle. It's as easy as going to cherry.com.au or calling in person to Cherry Glen Osmond, right next to Formula Honda.
This is Adelaide's 5AA.
A shower or two, 16 today with the 8:30 news. I'm Mel Usher.
Looking for the perfect winter exercise? Physio Extra offers clinical Pilates at 6 locations. PhysioExtra.com.
The single parent payment has been extended at a cost of almost $2 billion to the federal budget. Until now, the payment stopped once the youngest child reached 8 years of age. Under the change, single parents will receive the benefit until the child reaches 14. Speaking in Perth on his return from London, Prime Minister Anthony Albanese says it's an important measure.
We want to make sure that the children of single-parent families have the best opportunities in life to go on and to fulfil, to aspire to a good life with good jobs, with security.
Tomorrow's budget will also contain almost $15 billion in cost of living relief. A fail for a learner driver at Hyde Park. The 17-year-old's car left Unley Road shortly before 7 last night and crashed through the wall of a school gym. Senior Constable Rhett Davis says the driver and his 62-year-old passenger were not injured in the collision.
The young driver will receive a fine for failing to maintain effective control of his vehicle, and the Mercedes-Benz station wagon had to be towed from the scene.
The coronation concert was held outside Windsor Castle this morning. The newly crowned King and Queen were in the royal box. Lionel Richie performed several songs along with Katy Perry and Take That. And Tom Cruise sent a pre-recorded flyby.
Your Majesty, you can be my wingman anytime.
Earlier, the King and Queen issued a personal statement thanking those who've turned out in support of their coronation. Charles and Camilla say they're deeply touched by the national celebrations. Westpac has released its results, recording just over $4 billion profit. That's up 22% on this time last year. The new season of MasterChef started last night, a week after one of the hosts was found dead. There were tributes on the project beforehand for Jocks on Frillo. Jamie Oliver among those remembering the celebrity chef.
All the stories, there's a consistency there. And the consistency is he made time for me. He was quite an extraordinary man. He set up this incredible journey in life, adventure to Australia, made his mark.
Now turning to 5AA Sport.
It's nearly tax time. Act now for immediate delivery on Mitsubishi Triton from Agostino Mitsubishi, Nailsworth and Elizabeth.
What's happening in the footy, Tom Wren?
Well, Mel, we're going to start with Port Adelaide, and Coach Ken Hinkley is hopeful the injury suffered by skipper Tom Jonas isn't serious. The 32-year-old was subbed out with a chest injury, but Hinkley says it was more of a precaution.
He copped a whack in the midriff. There was more around, he wasn't feeling great, so hopefully he's okay, but we'll make sure he's checked out, scanned and look after him.
The Power will also be sweating on the results of scans to midfielder Zach Butters after he hurt his knee in the 5-point win against Essendon. Well, Sydney's efforts to put Collingwood young gun Nick Dacos off his game appeared to backfire as the Pies recorded a 29-point win against the Swans at the MCG. Sydney forwards swarmed around Dacos after his opponent booted the Swans' first goal, sparking a scuffle. Pies coach Craig McRae says it's something all good players have to go through in their careers.
Yeah, this is his lot right now. This second-year player just going really well, and opposition want to take that away. And I was really pleased with this last quarter. He had 10 possessions in the last quarter and went into midfield, did his thing. So he's a hard player to stop.
The West Coast Fever has gone down to the Melbourne Vixens in a nail-biter 74-73, and that result means the Adelaide Thunderbirds finish round 8 in top spot. The Philadelphia 76ers have won a thrilling Game 4, 116-115 in overtime against the Boston Celtics to square their best-of-7 series at 2 games apiece. American Wyndham Clark has recorded a 4-shot win at the PGA's Wells Fargo Championship at Quail Hollow. Aussie Adam Scott finished equal 5th. And in the Giro d'Italia, race leader Remco Evenepoel has blamed Aussie Caden Groves for causing a high-speed crash. That was in the closing stages of Stage 2. With about 3 Ks to go, several riders went down, with Jonathan Milan taking out the stage, beating home David Decker, while Groves came in third. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now checking 5AA traffic.
Worried about cheap insurance? Who offers great value cover you won't regret? Amy does. Before buying insurance issued by Amy, read the PDS and TMD at amy.com.au and consider whether it's right for you.
At Mawson Lakes, a smash on the Salisbury Highway near Eldersmith Road is causing heavy delays inbound. Dry Creek, residual delays from an earlier smash on the Salisbury Highway are still causing a few headaches as you're approaching the Wingfield interchange. And McGill, 2-car smash on St Bernard's Road near Arthur Streets. Busy South Road at Edwardstown with cameras today. Happy Valley Drive, Happy Valley, and McGill Road at McGill. Are your tyres electric? Hankook Ion, designed especially for electric cars and SUVs. You could say it's an evolution. Hankook Ion, the official partner of Formula E. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Now the 5AA forecast.
See any issue firsthand with AutoCam. Real-time video, direct to you from your Automaster's technician.
A shower or 2 today, heading for a top of 16 degrees. A shower or 2 again tomorrow, but up to 18. Partly cloudy Wednesday, 18 as well. Right now it's 9 degrees. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Whether you're a Sparky, a Chippy, a Fiery or a Bikey. Whether they call you Curly, Tubby or Tiny. Whether next door means a few feet or a few miles. We know the weather's harsh in South Australia. But Olympic Industries carports, verandas and sheds are tougher than most. And if they're strong enough in the country, they'll be strong enough in the city. Some say strong as an ox, others say hard as nails. We just say built to last. Olympic Industries.
Over 60,000 Adelaide homes have said yes to saving money on their energy bills with Yes, Your Energy Saving Solutions. What's keeping you? Your Energy Saving Solutions can connect you with the SA government initiative called REPS. To save money on heating this winter, Yes is offering eligible households a 2.6 kilowatt Rinnai system for only $699. For T's and C's on this unbeatable offer from Your Energy Saving Solutions, go to yes.net.au. That's yes.net.au.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head online to 5AA Facebook or search 5AA on YouTube. Breakfast on 5AA. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
Book a test drive of the incredible Cherry Motor 5 today. Visit gocherry.com.au.
22 minutes to 9, the Governor of South Australia coming up before 9 o'clock this morning. She's just departed the concert, the only South Australian at the coronation ceremony over the weekend. Looking forward to her review of everything that transpired and what Her Excellency got to see. The big news tomorrow around Australia is going to be the release of the federal budget. We want to do something of a quick preview through the lens of South Australia and South Australians, looking particularly at the potential for some major infrastructure projects to be mothballed, given that they're all under review, but also the centrepiece of the budget will be the $14.6 billion committed to lowering the cost of living. Jim Chalmers actually goes further than that and says that these are inflation-busting measures that will lower inflation as well for the 2023-2024 financial year. But that's his concern. Your concern is what happens to your personal budget, and there is a suite of things that are likely going to add some relief. $500, up to $500 for households and businesses off power bills. That will come at the cost of $1.5 billion. The payment for single parents that currently ends when a child turns 8, that'll be moved out for 4 more years. Job seeker payments are expected to be boosted for all ages. It'll just be a matter of how much and where expectation is for older people, there'll be more. And of course, we've already spoken at length about the changes to prescriptions, allowing doubling up to allow people to make some savings that way. Edwina McDonald is the Deputy CEO of the Australian Council on Social Services. Edwina, good morning to you and welcome to 5AA Breakfast.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
So, Edwina, the Albanese government has taken a bit of heat since its election over some of the backpedalling around its $275 energy bills promise. It sounds like they're going to go some way towards making amends for that, certainly for poorer Australians tomorrow.
Yeah, look, we're really looking to the budget tomorrow to see what the detail of that will be. And it is welcome that there will be some measure to address energy bills. I think there's a couple of things there that we'll really be looking out for. I think one is to make sure that if there is one-off payments, that those are really going to people on the lowest incomes, to make sure that people who are struggling the most will see the most benefit from that energy relief. But the other thing that we know is that one-off payments are just actually not going to cut it. So what we need to see is some longer-term change to lift incomes for those on the lowest, particularly those on job seeker, those on youth allowance, and also looking long-term at what do we do around bringing the cost of energy down as well.
What was the number one thing on your wish list ahead of the budget, Edwina?
Look, I think that's been really clear for us, for so many actually, and that would be raising the rate of those on the lowest income, so job seeker and youth allowance. We had the Economic Inclusion Advisory Committee, the government's appointed independent committee, come through really clearly to say that for people on the lowest income, for people living in poverty, this is the first priority. This is the most important thing we need to be looking at.
What about housing availability? Because everyone I talk to who isn't exactly flush with cash at the moment says that the big killer for them is the price of houses or the price of rent. You know, it doesn't matter if you're renting or trying to buy. It's just the hugest financial impulse people can be hit with these days.
Yeah, that's absolutely consistent with what we're hearing as well. And for people on the lowest incomes, we're hearing about people who are being forced into homelessness, living in cars or in tents, just because rents are too expensive and they don't have enough income. So part of that is bringing the incomes out, but obviously we also need to be looking also at the supply of housing, and particularly the supply of social housing. So we're calling on the government to be looking at ways to be bringing through 25,000 new social housing properties each year as a way of increasing supply.
Good stuff. Edwina McDonald there, the Deputy CEO of ACOS. We're going to cross over now to talk to Rebecca Pickering, based here in Adelaide, as the CEO of the SA Civil Contractors Federation. Rebecca, thanks for your time. It was a pretty ominous announcement they dropped a couple of weeks ago, wasn't it, about this review of infrastructure projects. Have you had any sort of clarity around what it will actually mean on the ground yet?
No clarity as yet, unfortunately. We're sort of waiting with bated breath to see what this review, what the outcomes are of the review. I think more importantly for us, if you're talking cost of living, our focus tends immediately to apprenticeship and looking at those incentives to retain and commence apprentices, particularly in our sector. So I'm not sure if you're aware or your listeners are aware, but our civil apprentices don't actually receive the full funding that the federal government provides to other apprentices. It's a really interesting piece that you can be a farrier, a picture framer, a gymnastics coach, and you'll get more funding than a civil apprentice will.
Does that make it even worse at a time when it's hard to get jobs filled?
100% it does. We can't incentivise our youth and our workforce to actually take on these apprenticeships in the civil infrastructure space. We won't have a workforce to build and construct these projects that we have and that SA desperately needs. We really need to ensure that those incentives federally are there, and we're talking to the tune of $5,000 cost of living support, which again these kids won't get.
How confident are you in a macro sense about the pipeline of major projects that are coming down that infrastructure funding pipeline from the federal government?
I think we're waiting. I guess this review has really thrown us a bit of a curveball. We've only had a week to get our heads around it. We'll certainly be putting forward South Australia's best position with regards to other states to make sure that our projects do stack up and those we have put energy and costs into as an industry actually do stand the test and can be constructed. Does the timing of that review sound alarm bells in your mind, Rebecca? Because it does seem a bit weird to announce right on the 11th hour before the budget is released, and probably at a time when it was even probably then being printed, that this review's underway. Certainly not helpful, and it doesn't help business confidence at all. We've had a number of businesses that are already suggesting that they'll release workforce numbers at the moment and not invest in their business with the infrastructure that we need for them to do these upcoming projects. So it is really concerning.
Is there a canary in the coal mine project that you've got your eye on that you'll be turning to instantly in the budget, thinking if that one's in trouble, well, there's a whole heap of stuff we're going to be concerned about in SA?
To be honest, I don't think there's any new infrastructure projects. We're not expecting anything at all, to be honest, with
Sure.
this review.
I mean, those that are under review, is there one that you think is particularly susceptible?
Potentially Truro and Hahndorf. So we spoke about those last week. They're certainly at risk, and road maintenance is the other one that we're quite curious about. We haven't heard or had any clarification on road maintenance programs and our safety programs that are part funded by the Commonwealth. So we're really quite intrigued to understand and wait with bated breath to see if those road maintenance programs are at risk or whether they will go forward.
It might even be easier to guess that the only one that's not at risk is South Road, and that everything else is up for grabs.
Yes, so anything that was on this side of our government coming into to power, all those Labor projects are safe from what we understand. It's all those prior projects that we've been working on for some years, like Truro, that are at risk.
Well, all will be revealed tomorrow. Rebecca Pickering, the CEO of the Civil Contractors Federation, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
14 minutes to 9, the Governor of South Australia, Francis Adamson, was the only South Australian at the coronation ceremony over the weekend and has just, as we understand it, departed the concert that's been playing in front of 20,000 people this morning, our time. She's been kind enough to give us some of her time this morning on 5AA Breakfast. Your Excellency, good morning to you.
Good morning.
What a
listeners.
What a remarkable experience it must have been, Your Excellency.
Look, it really has been. I think for everyone involved, for the participants, for those who've had significant roles in the coronation yesterday, for everyone who attended the concert this afternoon. But I think also whether it's a personal experience or something viewed through television, or in the case of the UK, big screens really set up across the country to enable people to watch something that most people regard as a once-in-a-lifetime event.
So who were you sitting with?
Well, I've enjoyed the company of other governors in terms of the seating arrangement. The British, of course, are very protocol conscious and have grouped us all together. But we've been in the company of others who've come from overseas, many others from overseas, and this evening actually with Brits from all walks of life at the concert. People who are well known here, former prime ministers, people who've been balloted in, people who are willing to queue for hours. I've probably done more queuing actually and waiting over the weekend than anything else, but it's all been worthwhile.
So, can you reveal, Governor, where were you seated inside Westminster Abbey, and did you have a good view from your vantage point?
I had an excellent view. I was in row J of the south transept of Westminster Abbey. I can't remember my seat number. I think it might have been number 7. But I had a direct line of sight through to the King during the enthronement part of the coronation, and was able to see his face as the Prince of Wales knelt at his feet, and then as the Queen was crowned. So it really was a wonderful position from which to observe an ancient ceremony, but one that was adapted in a number of ways to make it more modern and relevant to people today.
And there were moments too, Your Excellency, where the congregation had to take part and respond to the Archbishop of Canterbury. I was wondering, was it a bit like being at a wedding or a funeral? Did you get like a little booklet and you knew when to respond? And also, did you sing as well, or was that just left to the choristers?
Well, that's a very good question, actually. There was a 50-page order of service. I've been a churchgoer most of my life in the Anglican tradition, and never before have I had a 50-page order of service for anything, but everything was covered. And yes, the congregation did sing. I'm surprised you couldn't have heard us above the choir, but the congregation did sing. There were a number of places in which we were invited to participate, most of them in the order of service as it would normally be, and some special elements for the coronation. There were a few parts where the Archbishop was speaking more or less privately to the King. They weren't audible to those of us in the Abbey, but they were audible, I gather, on some of the television coverage. Maybe not all of it, not the BBC, I think, but certainly Sky had most of it.
I understand you had an audience with the King and Queen on the eve of the coronation. Is that correct? And can you reveal any of the conversation you might have had, if anything?
Well, as you know, there are certain protocols around these things, but it wasn't a formal audience. There were hundreds of people who'd come from overseas at Buckingham Palace for a reception. The King sort of moved among us through the picture gallery and other rooms, and I was fortunate enough to be able to have a few words with him, and he was very pleased to hear about the stand of wattles that we're proposing to plant at the open day marking the coronation on the 21st of May at Government House, 10 till 4, and I'll be inviting members of the public to join me in planting wattle trees, which perhaps surprisingly had not featured in the Government House before.
And just finally, Your Excellency, you've had a great and varied career that's taken you around the world working with foreign affairs and trade. You would have seen amazing things. I imagine when you were based in Beijing, you would have gone many times to places like the Great Hall of the People in the Chinese capital. But how did this experience compare to all the other things you've seen in the course of your career?
Well, I've also had 2 postings to London and therefore been at Westminster Abbey for a number of really significant occasions, representing Australia rather than South Australia. But I have to say this is it has gone really right up in the top rank of those very special things that I've experienced. And it was utterly memorable, quite striking, meaningful. The thing that really I will always remember is the emphasis through the coronation ceremony yesterday, the service, and also the concert this evening, and that is service. And the Archbishop of Canterbury, who visited Australia only a few months ago, really made the point that every member of the congregation served in some way or another, and we all represented in one form or another communities of people who volunteered and served. And in my 18 months so far as governor, I've just been so conscious of how true that is in South Australia, and that was really the point that came home most to me by virtue of having flown here, spent the weekend here, and I'm flying back tomorrow.
Terrific. Well, look, we know it's late, and in fact it's getting on for 12:30 in the morning in London, well past midnight, so we do very much appreciate you staying up late, Your Excellency. Absolutely. To give your loyal subjects here in Adelaide a first-hand account of your front row seat to history.
That's very good of you, Dave. No, well, I will sleep. I won't even listen to what you're going to say next, which I'm sure will be something highly amusing.
We can only hope.
All right. Thank you both very much.
The Governor of South Australia, Francis Adamson, in London, our guest. I tell you what, we started the program talking about how the whole coronation service caused a lot of people, including you, David, to reflect on the whole nature of the monarchy and Australia's part in the Commonwealth. One thing I hope everyone reflects on is how well served we've been by our last few governors.
Oh, for sure. 100%.
Like, if there's one argument that we get an element of this right, it's we have had excellent people representing our state.
Completely. Yep. Hugh Van Lay, Kevin Scarce, Francis Adamson, lucky to have all of them.
6 minutes 9. Let's check traffic. and then we'll go behind closed doors. For your chance to win a $4 million grand prize, visit homelottery.com.au.
At Mawson Lakes, a smash on the Salisbury Highway near Eldersmith Road is causing heavy delays inbound. Dry Creek, residual delays from an earlier smash on the Salisbury Highway, still causing a few headaches as you're approaching the Wingfield interchange. And at McGill, look out for a two-car smash at St Bernard's Road near Arthur Streets. Busy right now, South Road at Edwardstown with a camera to look out for, McGill Road at McGill. The King Living mid-year sale is on now. Save up to 50% on selected Australian-designed furniture. Sale on now. Visit the King Living Keswick showroom today. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
On 5AA mornings, a 7-year-old girl suspended from a South Australian school for writing a note saying, "I love you," to another student. And cost of living relief in the federal budget. More details coming out. What's in it for you? I'm Matthew Pantelis. Join me from 9.
Dream big, South Australia, because you could win big in the Hospital Research Foundation Home Lottery. The $4 million grand prize built by Scott Salisbury Homes in Melbourne could be yours. Plus, there's a catalogue bursting with over 13,000 prizes, including luxury cars, holidays and cash. With a 1 in 15 chance of winning, get your tickets today. Join the fight. To see full details, visit homelottery.com.au. Licence in 14364.
How easily could you save hundreds off your energy bills? That easy. Switch out your gas or electric hot water system for an energy-efficient heat pump with EcoVantage. Then sit back and save up to 70% on your water heating costs. And get it supplied and installed for as little as $0, thanks to government-facilitated subsidies. Yep, new hot water system from $0 that saves you hundreds. Pump your energy bills down with ecovantage.com.au.
Now, Will, what's your garden like?
Garbage.
That's succinct. Well, I don't want to brag about mine, but it's marginally better than Will's, I'd say. But look, you know, if you're serious about your garden, or if you want to get serious about your garden, if you'd like a better garden, if you'd like a garden full stop, go and see the great people at Stanford's, where they don't just talk gardens, they want to see your photos.
Yeah, that's true passion. Pictures worth 1,000 words. Nothing makes the Stanford team's day like a photo of your pride and joy, your garden.
That's right. With 100 years of combined experience in the team, they've seen a lot, but it never gets old. Show them your unusual garden, your work in progress, your new veggie patch, the time you dabbled in hedge sculpting. They want to see it all. They're a wealth of knowledge when it comes to tips and tools to keep your garden pristine.
Pop in for tips or just to brag to someone who gets it. Go see Ben and Archie and their experienced team at 590 Main North Road, Jeps Cross, or check out stanfordmowers.com.au.
Will retirement living suit you? Get a sneak peek of the lifestyle you could enjoy at FIVEAA's free open home events across Adelaide from the 20th to the 27th of May. Come along with family and friends to explore our communities, inspect our display homes, discover our social activities and chat with our friendly team. Take the first step and search FIVEAA Open Home today. You can look forward to a very warm welcome. RSVP is essential and COVID-safe practices apply.
9 News is made in Adelaide for Adelaide.
And has been since 1959.
I'm Kate Collins.
And I'm Brenton Raglas. Join us for 9 News tonight at 6.
Breakfast on 5AA. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
Test drive the Cherry Motor 5 at Cherry Glen Osmond from 33k drive away with immediate delivery. Go Cherry.
Find the cheapest fuel in an instant. Download the free My RA app from your app store today. A lot of outlets in the high $90s or low $2 range, but there are still plenty in the $60s if you look out for them. The Liberty Eric Road Old Noarlunga's $1.63.5. The OTR Woodville Road Woodville South $1.65.5. The Coles Express OG Road Clemsig $1.65.9. Most diesel around the town is in the high $70s, but you can get it slightly cheaper, like at the OTR Grand Junction Road Jeps Cross $1.71.5. We're running late, so John Blake will take us out this morning. Big thanks to the Governor for joining us at late notice on the program as well. We'll catch you tomorrow morning from 6. Aussie Fast Transport Solutions, Interstate Freight Distribution, Warehousing and Local Adelaide Couriers. Call Aussie Fast 1313 64.
And when we get behind closed...
$13.95. Adelaide's 5AA. This is the Saturday Sports Show. KG and Cornsey.
Hi folks, welcome to the Saturday Sports Show. Graham Corns with you
and the legend of South Australian sport.
Get on with it, Studley.
I am getting on with it. The legend, KG Cunningham.
Hello, Studley. How are you, Stud?
Good, KG.
I tell you what, Studley, I've got a good feeling about the Crows this weekend.
Really?
Yes, I have.
What's the feeling?
Graham, I just feel that the Crows are going to cause a big upset against Geelong.
Yes, you know, I think you might be right.
Well, they're playing a lot better now. They're a team that has a direction.
Yes, and the law of probability says that because Geelong have beaten the Crows at Cardinia Park for the last 20 years...
It must be our turn.
That's right.
Fair dinkum. No wonder we're footy experts, Studley.
Absolutely right.
That's why we host a sports program.
That's it.
Because the wealth of sporting knowledge that we have to share, fair dinkum.
Exactly right.
How are you going in the tipping, Stud?
Not very well.
But that is only because...
I'm a football expert.
Correct, Wait, yes.
Yes, the fact that I don't do well in footy tipping competitions is because I know football backwards.
Well, that's right, Stud, and that's how you tip.
Yes.
You can do just about anything online.